All right, we're live.
We live.
We live.
Well,
We live, but not
JLegend,
outside.
salute to everybody. We going live on my channel because DME pulled the wrong DMV and took the Union channel from us. I don't know what to say. I'm bullshitting. He didn't do nothing like that. But we couldn't get into the channel, so we're making it happen. Salute to everybody. Hopefully you guys being safe in your quarantine. I know some of y'all getting antsy. It's a holiday, so some of y'all acting a fucking fool, even though you never cared about this holiday before. I see a lot of y'all on social media going crazy like you really care, when in all actuality you're just bored. So hopefully you're being smart. You're not being reckless out there doing a bunch of nonsense that ain't even worth the risk, man. Hopefully you just enjoying your family and everybody's safe. What's up, my brother? What's poppin', man?
Chilling. Getting through this quarantine.
Yeah.
Today's actually, I got 1 day left. Because it's the 13th, right? It's the 12th. It's the 12th. So I got here in Florida the 31st, so I got a 14-day mandatory. So tomorrow I'm free, basically.
Yeah, but you know, the good part about it is for your quarantine is the point that you're in a new spot, so that's always dope. You know, gives you time to set the crib up without you having to worry about a bunch of other running around and shit like that, right? You ain't got to be. One of those things is moving and having to go to work and stuff, and trying to find time to settle in. You know, that's a bitch. At least you have 14 days without any other distraction, huh?
Yeah, that was a blessing because we actually were going to do 1 week before we jumped in. But because of the governor's orders to quarantine for 14 days, we had basically an extra week. So it ended up like being a blessing, really, because what else we gonna do anyways? You know, other than unwind and settle in and just enjoy a few days. Like, really, it took us like a week to settle in, and then a week after just to relax and, you know, just enjoy being here. But we're back on the workforce in 2 days.
That's dope. But first off, I know I told you this in private. I don't mind saying it in public, but I'm very happy for you, man. Very proud of you, and I'm happy that this worked out for you, man.
Thank you. It's been a blessing so far. Everything's, you know, I'll leave it to God's hands, and everything's worked out well. You know, it was a shot in the dark. It was a scary move, just picking up and going with everything at stake, and especially with this, with this pandemic going on. You know, that made it even harder and scarier because there's no guarantees right now for anything. So, you know, just it's just.
And I was really hoping for you. I'm like, you know, because like you said, there was so much in the air and so much happening. I was like, damn. You know, but again, you made it through, man. I'm just very, very happy for you. You know?
Yeah, everything went good, man. You know, God willing, we're gonna be alright.
No, I believe it though. I really truly believe that you guys got this far, you know, and things definitely have gone in a pretty, you know, besides the obvious, things have gone pretty good. I think it'll continue to go that way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all right, let's get into a little battle rap. Well, a lot of battle rap. There's a lot going on.
So first, coming from my side, I want to hear your side because even though you've been streaming and everything, being in New York City, like how's it been? Like how's the streets? How's the quarantine? People you know, like are they all right? You know, how's everything going there?
Well, it's a mixture of everything. Unfortunately, there are a good number of people who aren't taking any of this serious. And let's put the conspiracy theories to the side for a second. My main frustration is that people aren't understanding. You might not take something serious for you, but it's not fair to everybody else. And you know, I was in Jersey for like the first week and a half of this, and then like the last 2 weeks I've been here back in Brooklyn. And the thing over there is that block is normally quiet anyway. So and then more space. There's a backyard if I wanted to go chill in the backyard. Here it's not like that. I'm in the hood. I'm in the projects. So when we first came back to Brooklyn, I was upset because I saw people outside having damn near basketball tournaments, and there was people barbecuing and all kind of silly shit.
Did they take the hoops down?
Huh?
Did they take the hoops down on the street?
Nah. Well, they've done it in different areas. Like, I'm from Harlem, so in Harlem, in my neighborhood in Harlem, they've taken down all the most of the parks. They took down the hoops. Here in Brooklyn, there's a lot of places that they haven't done that yet.
Do you think that's a necessary step to?
Yeah. Okay, so the last few days, I've seen people take it more serious. So I'm not seeing like full blown. You understand? It's not like a block party anymore. So maybe they don't have to go that far because I see people chilling out with that shit. But listen, some of y'all really blow my mind with how dumb you can be. So I go outside the other day. First off, I've been pretty much only going out Friday or Saturday, and that's not only to get food, but for plenty of other people who are in my situation, I still have to pay child support while all this is going on. So I have to go to the post office to send money out, or possibly go to the bank, depending. Like what I've been doing is going to the bank, then going to a cashier and buying like a bunch of money orders, so I don't have to do none of that no more. So now I just got to go to the post office and mail it. So whenever I've gone out to like yesterday, I went out food shopping and sent my money orders. So I've seen people multiple times outside in a group with masks on or gloves, sometimes both, but sitting there passing blunts around to each other.
See, that's something that I always thought of. Like, how is this going to change the social interactions when it comes to like that kind of partying and in that kind of environment where you do pass the bottle around or do pass the blunt around? Like, is it like, are people still going to do that, or are they going to take more precaution? But I guess not, huh?
No,
they don't give a fuck.
And so I have two things with this. Number one, it doesn't make sense for you to be wearing masks and all that and then sharing a blunt. That shit makes no sense. Secondly, matter of fact, I'm gonna go three things because the second one is the most important part. Hey, if y'all want to do this, do it the fuck away. Don't stand in the past with the rest of the people like myself who are coming in with food and all that. Like they're not even in a way somewhere where they hide it. You know what I mean? They all in the fucking way, like chilling like this is a regular summer day. Normally, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't fuck. I used to be the dude in the hood too, sitting out on the benches, getting money, drinking my drink. I don't care about that. I care about it right now. I shouldn't have to go through a crowd of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the fuck out the way. And then to see y'all out there just smoking and y'all passing shit around, you don't even care about nobody else, man. See, like, that's what you want to do. Do your thing. Why the fuck should that have to affect what everybody else is doing? And I'm a different kind of person. I ignore a lot of that shit. But I see people, like yesterday, I'm in the supermarket. Another thing that frustrates me. Some areas of the supermarket, when you go online, they have marks on the floor so you know how far you should be away from each other. The fucking asshole and his wife want to keep getting closer to me, and I don't get anxiety like that. That shit was giving me anxiety.
Are you personally going out with protective gear, like any masks?
Yeah, but my thing is, it don't even matter if I'm doing that or not. You understand? Like, why the fuck are you that close? Like, there's clearly marks on the floor. What's wrong with you?
Now, where did you obtain your gear? Are you doing like homemade shit?
I'm one of the lucky people So just like yourself, I worked in a nursing home for a few months. I'm sorry if I shouldn't have put that out there. I'm sorry. But I work in the medical field. I'm talking about for you. I shouldn't have put your business out there. I'm sorry. But I worked in the nursing home. So I had gloves and stuff here in the stash. You know what I'm saying? And then I currently work doing demolition. It's a form of construction for those who don't know. But really, I break shit. I don't fix it. I don't build nothing. I break everything. So when you combine it, I had the N95 mask.
Oh, you got the good ones.
Yeah. So I have these. I have a bunch, as you can see. So, when you cross these last year and a half of my life, or whatever, like the fields I've been working in school, working in the nursing home, working in fucking doing construction, some of the stuff that I had to buy myself for work, or some of the extra stuff that I had for work, it really came into handy. Like, even my family in Jersey, I left them a whole fucking pile like this of the N95 mask, and they really hard to find. So, I got a bit lucky there.
That's what I'm saying.
When I go out, I'm fully protected, but it's still, like, yesterday was giving me anxiety. Like, I'm just like, why am I in the supermarket and you motherfuckers are literally, like, on top of each other and then getting in the way of people, like, just dumb shit. Then I'm walking through and I'm seeing you motherfuckers and on different streets, because this wasn't just in my projects, but on different streets, I'm having to walk through on the sidewalk and I gotta walk through a group of y'all. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb. So, yeah, I only say that to say, which was my third point from before, people passing blunts and all of that. Just, again, if you're not taking nothing serious, that's your choice. But don't do that in a point where it affects everyone else. Because and again, I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy theories, but I do believe some of this would have been over with sooner, or had a chance to be over with sooner in the grand scheme, if people just respected a lot of shit that, they were being asked of. I'm seeing people giving videos of arguing with cops, and it's like, this is not the time for that shit. Like, if a cop come up to you and tell you y'all shouldn't be hanging out on the fucking roof right there, he could be giving you a fine. Like, the governor has put it where the fines could be anywhere like 500 to 1,000 or some shit like that. Like, yo, I don't know about you, but not only should I be risking getting sick by hanging around you motherfuckers, but I shouldn't be risking getting fined all that money or going to jail right now. Like, for the record, for those of you who may not know, a lot of the jail system is slowed down crazy in terms of your court dates, so on and so forth, because of this. So your stupid ass could be going to jail just for arguing with a cop, doing some shit you shouldn't be doing,
stay there.
and end up in jail for 2 weeks waiting for a fucking court date.
Yeah, that's one of the fines that they gave the out of state, because they didn't want anybody from the New York area or up north to be traveling down to Florida, and they were freaking out. They were like, the people here are literally freaking out, talking about close the border down. They literally want to lock themselves in and not let anybody in, not let anybody out. And one of the things is you can get fined like 5 G's, or you could get thrown in jail. And they threatened us, when we went through the border, and this is like right at the point where they were talking about like Trump was considering doing it, like closing the borders down, because they were talking about it. So we were kind of freaked out. We wanted to go ahead of time, like a day early, because this was like right in the midst of him considering that, and then we're like, oh shit, we're not going to be able to get into Florida. So they were really strict. So they put out, this was a day after they put out Border Patrol on I-95 to get in here, because they had already put out patrol on coming, I think it's I-10, which is coming from Louisiana, because a lot of people are fleeing Louisiana to come in here, and they had already set up shop. So we ended up getting stopped at the border. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning when we got into the border, and we had to go take a different route. We went through a little like holding area, in a parking lot on the highway, and they took our information so they can reach us, do follow-ups to make sure our ass is in quarantine. And one of the things is jail time or a $5,000 fine if they catch you. And there's been stories going around, oh, they locked somebody up in Tampa for disobeying the rules. But to me, it's like, all right, you've already got the government in certain states releasing inmates early for nonviolent crimes because they don't want an overpopulated prison. But you want to throw people in jail for disobeying the rules as well. So that shit don't kind of make sense to me.
But the threat needs to be there, Joel. Whether or not they make good on the threat or not, that's another story.
But there is no right or wrong answer here, because I understand that. I understand the extreme of getting your point across, and even the extreme of the fine. But in a time where jobs are getting shut down, everything's getting shut down, there's no money coming in, you're also going to fine people, which is almost as bad, in a tough time like this. So there is no right or wrong answer, because I see the strict policies and the actions that need to be taking place, but at the same time, it's not cool at all. If anything, I would say give these people like community service in the state of Florida, if that's the case. When the time comes, set them up for that.
Well, the thing is, and again, I can't speak for them there, but I'm just trying to make a general statement. It's just, there is an abundance of people who are doing ridiculous shit. And again, whether or not you make good on arresting people, you have to at least give the appearance that you're willing to do. I'll be honest, where I'm at, I rarely see the police. I understand that there are cops who are trying to protect themselves. They don't want to be out there dealing with you motherfuckers either, because they don't want to risk getting themselves sick and their families.
Well, the police forces were getting hit too with that shit going around the PD.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, why do we have to find out if they're going to really do this or not, when we can take it upon ourselves to say, hey, this ain't the time for the fuck shit. It's simple. They're not telling you can't go out and get your exercise real quick. They're not telling you can't go to the supermarket. They got liquor stores open. They got restaurants open. You just can't go sit in there. So you can get your favorite food, and you got to take this shit home. Come on now. We don't need to hang out with all that. Listen, the other day I stood on fucking WhatsApp video chat with all my brothers. We were literally on the phone for about 8 hours. Everybody's just checking in here and there. You know what I mean? It was dope, and I needed that. I did need that. I needed to. I needed all the laughs. I needed all the jokes. I needed a little bit of that reminiscing. But technology has made it that we can hang out. I'm hanging out with you right now. Why the fuck do I need to stand in the street and do the same shit knowing it's going to cause a problem? I don't need that. Well, and again, if you're grown, just for the record, I understand everybody don't always have their drug of choice readily available. But for the most part, if you smoke weed or you do anything, you should have your own. So there's no way I should be going downstairs and seeing 7 of you motherfuckers standing in a circle passing blunts around, but you got a mask on. It's stupid. It's dumb. And a group of people, you don't think that the police are going to stop when they see a group of people? It's dumb. If the police do that when there's nothing wrong, why do you think they won't do it when right now we going through this? It's just not worth it. So you got to ask yourself, how much of this can I avoid? I know in some states, like in Jersey, my uncle, they had to give him a card that says essential worker. So I'm hearing in all other states that you have to have a card that says you are an essential worker. I'm talking about past the curfew times, or you know what I mean? And listen, if it gets to a point where we gotta start having a fucking pass to walk around, how much of that is on us? Like, I understand people who have theories,
the government wants to do this and control it. Shut the fuck up. Right now, it ain't even. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. But don't throw that shit on us and go and ignore that. Because when you ignoring this and you going out there and doing whatever the hell you want, you're making it worse for all of us. It don't matter how any of us feel about it. This is what we gotta get through. Let's get to it.
No, I agree.
And
But
just for the record, for everybody, you know, we have, one way or another, we are responsible for people. I am responsible for the people in my home. I am responsible for my children, who unfortunately I can't see in person. I have to video chat. But we are all responsible for somebody. So when we go and do other things we shouldn't be doing, we're affecting them too. So right now, whoever you are, you might be sitting there and saying, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to do whatever I want to do anyway. But if you live with people, you have a grandmother, you have kids, you have a wife, you have a husband, so on and so forth. The things you're doing out there that's risking, you're coming back and bringing it right back to your home. Personally, I've had family members who's affected by this. One of my aunts had it, and it showed. Gave it to her daughter, and it didn't show. Her daughter was then sent to go stay with her father, and she gave it to her father. And he's in the hospital bed right now. And his daughter wasn't showing. Teenage daughter, she wasn't showing any symptoms. When they tested her, she was there. You understand? The father had just gotten a test a few days prior. So it's bugged out how all of this is affecting people. And again, you can do all the selfish shit you want to do. It's not right to do this to your family, because let me tell you something, that pain don't go away. If some dumb shit happened and it's your fucking fault, whether you want to admit it is or not, yeah, my man, there's no way for somebody to ever make you feel any better about that. So please take heed to that, people, please.
So where you're at in like New York, is the state doing anything to help? Are they offering, as of right now, any gear, any masks, any sanitizers, nothing?
No. Right now, their main thing is trying to get them. I forgot the name of it, but the machines for people to breathe. I don't remember the name of them shits.
Yeah, ventilators.
The ventilators.
But I heard the cases are coming
everywhere.
down, so they're not needed as much. The estimated beds and cases are dramatically lower than expected. And you guys are...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you the truth. These last few days, I stopped watching the news. Like, everyone here watches it. And if I want to know something, I ask. I'm just at a point where I can't no more. I can't watch it. Like, it's like, you know it's there, and I'm not ignoring it, but I know what I have to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to listen to this shit all day. Like, it's just depressing. Even more when some of the people affected is my family as well. You know what I'm saying? So I don't watch the news like that. Yesterday I watched some of it because they're saying that they're shutting down the schools up here for the rest of the year. These kids will still be doing classes online and stuff like that, but you know, I'm affected by that because my son was supposed to graduate this year. He'll still get his diploma or whatever the case, but he won't have the ceremony. It's not a big deal because he's just going from elementary to junior high, but it's still a moment because now we have my nephew. God bless my nephew. My nephew was having a tough time in his life, and we never thought this kid would. And I don't mean this in such a fucked up way. You understand? I don't mean it in a fucked up way. He had learning issues. He had a lot of issues. He bust his fucking ass to be able to graduate high school this year. And guess what? He's not gonna have a ceremony now.
Don't they postpone that for a later date and have it like a ceremony?
I'm confident that they're gonna do that, but it's still, you know what I'm saying? It hurts. You know, these kids work their fucking ass off for it. Is it gonna be the same?
See,
It's not going to be the same.
the reason why I ask you about your day to day is because we all watch the news. We all know like the information, and we're all getting the same information from the news. But we don't always know about the day to day from a lifer of the city. You know, you're like yourself, like somebody. What your day to day is, what you see out there, what they're giving you personally, like. Because whatever they say on the news could it could not even affect you. It could be broader than that. But for the day-to-day person, living in the city, you don't get much perspective on, from media about that. So that's why I asked.
I do have to say that we do have to pat a lot of people on the back, because even through all of this, I do see a lot of people doing what they're supposed to do in terms of, again, this last week has been like kind of night and day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing as many people. I've seen a few people do nice things and go put themselves in harm's way, going to supermarkets and getting stuff for the elderly. I see people who normally take the bus. I've talked to a few people who I know who are bus drivers. Two of them are bus drivers, and one of them drives trains, the MTA. And they were saying that they are seeing in this last week a big improvement how people are doing things. The bus drivers have been, like, the first 2 rows on each side that normally will be like for the elderly, or you could put a wheelchair there. They flip those chairs up. They don't even want nobody sitting there. If you take the bus or something, you got to sit all the way in the fucking back. I'm not seeing people waiting at bus stops like that. Like, I just see certain people, and some people I talked to, who said if they go to a bus stop and they see more than 3 people there, they just leave. They walk to the train, Or I see a lot of, which I did yesterday. Yesterday I tried to go into the liquor store, and there was a bunch of people just hanging in front of this shit. So I just came upstairs and just ordered the shit online. So I'm seeing a lot of people here delivering medical stuff, people's medication. I'm seeing delivery of food. I'm seeing delivery of liquor. But I'm not seeing it like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to do, but there are some supermarkets you can order your food and get the shit delivered. We try to make an order, so I didn't want to come outside yesterday. We tried to make our order, but they said they didn't have a date or time for us, an estimated date or time. So we ended up canceling that order. But some supermarkets, they're getting whatever you need to you within 2-3 days. There's some supermarkets who don't have a date. Whenever they can get to you, they get to you type shit. I think people have been pretty good in terms of, like, I'm not seeing fights and dumb shit, you know what I mean?
Supermarkets short on supplies right now, do you see? Are they
We're having a hard time. It depends. It depends where you're going. Like, for example, we went to BJ's. BJ's didn't have no toilet paper or paper products at all.
Yeah, that's wild, right? Just like over a month later, and it's still a shortage of fucking toilet paper.
And then Walgreens. We went to Walgreens, and Walgreens is only selling. Well, the Walgreens near us, I'll say that. They're only selling single rolls. And the reason they're doing that is so that everybody gets a chance of having at least a roll or 2. So I think that's fair. We might not like it, but it's not up to us. Like, it's a good way to try to get everybody a fair share. A lot of these stores, liquor stores, stuff like that, they're only allowing like 2 people in at a time, depending on the size of the place. We went to one wine shop yesterday. It was like that. It was a pretty nice sized wine shop, but they was only letting 2 people in at a time. So I bypassed that because it had a few people waiting outside. Like I said, anytime I see little groups around the store, I don't even go unless it's a big store. I went to Fairway yesterday. It was pretty cool, but they had like the section where you would normally get like your hot food. Let's just say you wanted to get a plate of food for dinner tonight. All that was shut down. Different places, they have a limit on stuff. Like you could get 1 pack of water per person.
Yeah.
just stuff like that. Some places, most of these places don't have any alcohol. That's what I needed. I'm talking about like rubbing alcohol and stuff. They don't have alcohol. I'm seeing a shortage of supplies, like cleaning supplies. I ended up going to a mom and pop little store and getting some toilet paper, because what we've been trying to do is every time we go out, try to get whatever we can, but like not so much where we're just buying shit just to, no, like if I go out today to the supermarket, I try to at least get a 4-pack of toilet paper with whatever else I need, So right now I'm good on supplies. I'm not hurting for nothing, but if I need to go out in these next few days, which I don't see myself going back out till maybe Friday, but when I go out Friday, I'm going to try to get some toilet paper. What I also been doing, and I know some people might not feel comfortable with this, but I've been also getting baby wipes. Not to get too personal, but when I use the bathroom, when I'm finished, I'd like to use a baby wipe. But if I don't got no toilet paper at all, well, guess what? I got baby wipes.
You see that?
So,
you see the problem too. Like you want to sell a single roll so everybody gets their fair share, but then that makes you be coming out more often, right? Like then you're coming out every other day, depending on the size of your family, because you need a roll of toilet paper every other day.
Well, again, other places you can buy if you can find it. But that particular store, I think they were doing the right thing, just making sure everybody got some. Because you got people who are literally only coming out to get toilet paper. And if you got a bunch of people coming to the store and they don't have it, guess what? They'll be back tomorrow. You understand? So I think it's, they were selling it. I think the most you could get from that store was 2 rolls. But they were selling, just the single roll ones. And I just thought that was the best because everybody who came out at least left with a roll.
Jay, you know what you do, man? You get yourself a super soaker. You set a little string on the trigger, and you can bypass the toilet paper altogether, man. With a little soapy water and a super soaker gun.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. No, man. It's to the point, like I said, I got hand towels here, I got napkins. If it come down to it, man, I'll wet those up a little bit, man. Fuck it. You got. These are times where you have to just handle your business the best way you can. You know what I mean? Other than that, everything's been, my building been fairly quiet in terms of like we're not really hearing people really moving around like that. You know what I'm saying? If you do, you probably seeing like. I was looking out the window a little bit yesterday after I came home from everything, and I rarely ever saw anybody. And most of the people who I did see, they were maybe coming downstairs to get whatever food they ordered, or But yeah, like I said, I think the last few days has been a huge difference than what it's been like. There is, so I went. When I was going to the supermarket yesterday, I stopped at the pier because it's right. The supermarket is by the water, so I went to go chill at the pier for a little. Stood there maybe 20 minutes, and that felt so good. The breeze coming off the water, the weather was nice, and I saw in the parking lot a section of the parking lot where people rarely ever go, even on a regular day. I saw a parent out there with the kids and was just letting the kids throw the football around in the parking lot. And that's in that back corner. And I thought that was dope, man. I think that we all need a little bit of it. It's just, again, we don't have to do it in groups. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do that. You got to go take your walk outside for your own sanity, or maybe you're not allowed to smoke in your house or something. That's fine. Just don't do it in an ignorant fucking way. You know what I mean? Don't do it in a way that just puts people in bad situations.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It took a lot yesterday for me not to react to the people behind me, even the people in front of me, were just all on top of people, and the people behind me was making it uncomfortable. It took a lot for me not to react to them. And you know, the last thing I need to do is be getting into a fucking fist fight in the supermarket. Like, this ain't the time for none of that shit, man. But
Don't be that guy in the news.
yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I don't, wholeheartedly, I do not want to be that guy. But come on, man. And the reason why, like, it was so frustrating was, again, like, I went almost 2 weeks straight without coming outside for nothing. Like, that first fucking money that I sent the child support, I paid 2 weeks of my child support in advance, so I don't have to come out. You know what I'm saying? And for like almost 2 weeks, I didn't go outside, not even to get fresh air.
So after that, orders in bulk.
Yeah. So after that, whenever I have gone out, it's been like a week and a half before I've gone out. And again, like I do my very best to just avoid shit, but it's like everywhere I go, people just doing ignorant shit, and it's really frustrating. Especially for the people who are really fucking dumb. And you know, I saw some of it. Again, I haven't seen it in the last few days, but I even seen people like just bringing babies out and just stopping to look at, oh, the baby's so cute, all this dumb shit. Like, this ain't the fucking time for that. Why are you bringing this little baby out unless you have to? Unless you don't got nobody to watch the baby while you go to the supermarket, there's no reason you should have no fucking babies outside. Not even kids to a degree. Like, I'm not trying to bring kids
the limits.
into a
Somebody came
right
up
now.
to me with, you know, I'm holding my baby, and somebody came up to me, I'd be like, get the fuck away from my child.
Get
right
away.
now.
Get the fuck away. Like, yo, it's mind blowing though. Like, people think that this social distancing means don't meet nobody new. Fuck out of here. I don't care how long I know you. I don't care. Listen, my brother has a house, a backyard, all that shit. My brother's like, yo, why don't you come over here for a few days? My nephew is only 5 months old. He's like, yo, come over for a few days. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no. And that's my family. I love them, and I want to be there with my nephew. But guess what? This ain't the fucking time for house calls, man. I don't care. I don't care if I don't think you got anything, and this is just not the time for that. You know what I mean? Hey, if you want to go check in on your neighbor because you're not sure they elderly or, you know, they handicapped, no problem. But other than that, ain't no reason you should be going over to go fucking hang out with nobody, man. Like, no, man. Stop it.
Bro, I was checking the news, and the place I worked at in Connecticut, and mind you, about a week or two, it was like a week and a half prior to, it was like almost 2 weeks prior to leaving, to moving. You know, we stopped working. We had put in our leave time. And shortly after, we started seeing on the news, because we're keeping tabs. We still got family up there and working in that facility. And like to date, there's like 15 cases in that nursing home. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like 2 or 3 just shortly after, like by the time we left, and we're like, God damn, like, we're lucky we got the fuck out when we did. You know, like, everything was a blessing, because this shit literally spreads like wildfire. And mind you, like, this is why people need to be cautious, is because these residents, these patients didn't get this shit on their own just by sitting in their rooms. Outside people, employees, healthcare workers, CNAs, they brought that shit and spread the shit around. And they're the ones in the front line taking care of all our elderly in those places, you know, and they're probably fine. They seem fine, but guess what? They had that shit and spread it the fuck around the whole facility without even knowing. Fucking shit up. So really,
I'm pretty sure some of them feel bad about that too, man.
Well, some of them probably didn't know, like, they even contracted or even spread it around. I mean, this is how the shit works. You don't even have to show signs. You could be asymptomatic and still.
I told you what happened with my very own family, and you know, we have a family member who was one of them people who didn't believe the shit was real, and same shit with him, chilling. This was before they shut down the bars and the restaurants where you couldn't chill there anymore. This was like days before that. I'll be honest, that same day that he was out chilling, I did the same thing. Not how he was doing it though. But I had gotten out of work. I was tired. I was frustrated. The restaurant, they had a Hooters up the like 2 blocks away from my job. So I went to the Hooters. The Hooters was fairly empty because this was right around the time when they first started shutting shit down. I sat in the Hooters, had a few drinks. My brother got out of work. He came to the Hooters. We had a few beers. Then we went to another bar and had a few beers. Then we went home. But again, this is right when they were shutting shit down. So most of these places was empty. What he did was he really went on some, how do you call that, bar crawl? You know what I'm talking about?
Barcode?
Bar crawl.
No.
So basically what they do is, there's tours like this too. But I know this ain't just a New York thing, and it's not really a thing, it's just whatever. So basically it's bar hop. But what they do is, they have a list of bars they're going to go to that are, let's say, in a 10-block radius. So me and you would just go to every single bar, have 2 drinks at every bar, and just keep rotating like that. So it's bar hopping. They just call it a bar crawl. You know, like I said, you just come up with a certain amount that bars you're going to go to, and then you have like 2 or 3 drinks every one, then you just move on to the next one. So that's the shit he did. Not believing in any of this shit, and he caught it. Thank God he quarantined. He's fine. I talked to him the other day. He said he's feeling just fine now. You know, this happened towards the beginning, but thank God it happened towards the beginning. He made it through just fine. But as I said, we still got family members and friends who are affected by this, affected and infected, whichever way you want to put it. And I'm really more worried again about the kids. It's like, I just want to see my kids, man. I want to see my kids in person, but my kids have asthma, and they don't belong being out right now. It's just not the time.
Well, as of this week, they were announcing that Black African American and Latinos have a higher chance of getting it, and it's because of the underlying medical conditions, like Black people have a higher rate of diabetes and high blood pressure and such, things like that, which are playing a role in more like African Americans being more susceptible and more able to contract it. And just like they said, Puerto Ricans are more prone to asthma, which is in all seriousness like deadlier to us in that sense. Statistically speaking, the minorities have more of a risk.
We, in my family, my mother's side of the family, we have a huge asthma issue. I'm blessed. I don't have asthma, but my kids have asthma. Some of my nieces, I have a lot of family, and asthma has been I won't go too deep into it, but it's definitely caused a few deaths in my life and in my family. I don't take any of it. Dude, I say it doesn't matter sometimes like how much you believe in shit. It's about the big picture. So any little precautions that you can take, regardless if you feel that way or not, like my kids, like that's all I keep thinking about is my kids, my nieces, my nephews. I know how at risk they are. Honestly, if I felt like I already had one disagreement, I had to yell at my pops. You know what I mean? My pops was going outside and visiting motherfuckers, and I'm like, my man, you got health issues. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And his thing is, the people I'm visiting are fine. That don't fucking mean anything. It doesn't. None of that means anything. And I'm happy to say my father's now taking heed to what I'm saying. It took us to have a heated argument, unfortunately. But that's what it took. It took for me to bark on my father, for him to get the fucking point. And And what I was explaining to him was, I don't fuck how you feel. But you can easily be walking into somebody else's house and fucking them up with this shit. And it's not fair, man. It's just not fair. And I'm really hoping, let's talk about some battle rap shit, but I'm just hoping that anybody, I don't know who's in the chat, who's not, I can't see any of that. But if you're in this chat, or if you see this later, or whatever the case, just please, man, take these little extra steps, man. It's just not worth it. It's not.
Yeah, JLegend is gonna have a do-it-yourself how to create your own mask segment on his live tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Make sure y'all tune in.
Yeah. See, this is my mask right here. This is what
how to wrap up your bald head.
This is my protection against all the diseases right here. Yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take one of these boxes, we're gonna get some shoelaces, and I'm gonna show y'all how to make a N95 mask out of this, right? Alright, let's so we gotta talk about this Guardians of the Culture shit. Alright, so I don't know all the details, which is another reason why I haven't spoken up on the situation. I wanted in the last few months I've gone through a lot of personal shit. And, between that and certain stuff that was happening in battle rap, I kind of been moving away from battle rap. During this quarantine, some of you have seen the episodes I put out where I'm just suggesting battles. And those battles have made me gradually come back to battle rap. I love battle rap, but battle rap was supposed to be an escape for me. And with personal shit I was going on and other shit that was happening in battle rap, including me, I just started falling a little bit out of love with it, you know what I mean? And it wasn't my escape anymore. But during this quarantine, I've been watching battles I loved, some battles I didn't even watch before, just watching shit. And then suggesting to you guys that you go check out some of them. But while that was going on, there was an event that happened, Guardians of the Culture, and apparently they haven't paid everybody. Now, there are some people who said they didn't get any money. And there's some people who said that they only got their first half, they didn't get their second half. I saw Loso, who we know is a Christian guy. I seen him talking up a little bit on it. And again, I was waiting. I didn't want to really dig into it because I didn't want to go back into a negative mode of battle rap. But then I started seeing B-Dot say something very important. B-Dot said, if a battle rapper does something wrong to a league, everybody's quick to talk about it. But a league did this shit and no one was talking about it. Now, I wouldn't agree that nobody talked about it because, again, guys with small people, not just guys, but people with small channels, we talk about shit, but no one seems to give a fuck because either you're not talking about the gossip, if you're not kissing URL's ass or any of that, no one gives a fuck about what you talk about on your channel. So with that said, B-Dot was right, but he might have been wrong. People might have been talking about it, you know what I mean? But B-Dot is right that if we could talk about battle rappers, we could talk about leagues. Now, I take me, you, and DME out of that. Because there's plenty of times we've talked about fuckery from leagues and all of that. We've talked about everything. So I think that it's safe to say that we are the kind of bloggers who have pointed out bad shit that leagues have done as well. But on this one, I didn't know much about it, so I don't want to talk about it. But Guardians of the Culture, I don't know how you have a name like that and then do some shit like this. If you didn't have the money, first off, and this goes for current leagues and people who are thinking of starting leagues, you should not be waiting for pay-per-view money that may not come or door money in order for you to pay the talent. Any business you have, you should have that money up front. You can't have people working and you're not sure if you're gonna have the money to fucking pay them. Like, fuck, like, what is that about?
Well, we're veterans enough to know that when you stack up a card the way that it was stacked, that there's going to be some issues unless they have a license to print money. Now, to the big media's credit, I did see Jay Black put out a video. It was DNA talking about the situation. So, I mean, the information was put out. I think it kind of fell in between the cracks of everything that's going on, you know, with all this, you know, like pandemics and everything. Like, everybody's wasn't sweating it as much. I think they would have caught a little heat, but in those
It took a back seat to real life.
yeah, in those situations too, like, what can you do? Unless the battle rappers themselves are talking about it and promoting the fact that, you know, they kind of got gypped on getting their money. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, and we're basically tired of it. It comes down to, well, if you got suckered for your money, that's your own problem. I ain't gonna speak on it at this point, because how many years has this been going on? We've seen this time and time again, and you see a fresh battle rappers should already be on top of seeing a fresh face with you seeing their peers all around them, like people that get paid, you know, a good amount of money to be there. Now they got to know that, first of all, I'm not performing unless I know for sure that, you know, my money's going to be correct. Now, that credit, I understand, like, from third party, that it was it has something to do with Marino. It was Marino's boy, and you know, if you set something up with somebody, I trust in you that you're cool with them enough for me to go through with it. So I understand that aspect of it, but you should still, like, be seasoned enough at this point to where you take precaution and you watch your steps and you make sure business is going to be correct before you go ahead and just jump on a card. You know, like, I mean, when is enough for them to learn? At this point, don't even cry about the money, because you should have been on top of this as an artist. A lot of these guys are seasoned. These aren't like mid-tier rookies going on these cards. This is like a whole card of vets.
So I agree with some of the things you say, and then I disagree with some of the stuff you said. But let me start off by apologizing for what I said, because I said this took a backseat to real life. This is real life. Somebody playing with your money and stuff is real life. So I'm sorry for saying it. What I meant was the pandemic is clearly more important. So, you know, that it took a backseat to something more important is what I meant by what I said. So I just wanted to clear that up. Secondly, I agree with you when you say this has happened plenty of times. We should, you know, the vets should, you know, be upon it, but I don't blame them. And this is why I don't blame them. I don't blame them, A, because Guardians of the Culture have done a few events, and they've had big names on it, a few big names, and there hasn't been a problem like this. So I can understand you having a little more trust in that, because you just saw that they did they did like 3 events like a month apart or some shit like that, and they had a bunch of big names. No one said there never was a financial issue. Secondly, like you said, you had guys like Don Marino who has some sort of connection there, right? So, of course, it's just like you, Rich. Well, if you come out and say, yo, Jay, you know, come help me do this job over here, and, you know, you're going to be good, because it's you, I am going to take your word for it. I just can't put all the blame on you. I would be a little annoyed with you, because I'm taking your word, everything's going to be good, but at the end of the day, it's still up to the people to make the business right. Now, you got people like Arsenal, who has said, and I'm sure he's not the only one, but Arsenal has said that the way he does business is you send him his first half, and his second half is due before he gets on the stage. So when he gets in the venue, he wants his second half, and then he'll go up and rap. So I think that maybe guys should take a little bit more of that approach. But I also understand that, in certain situations, and I don't mean this for everybody, I don't want to be disrespectful because I'm not trying to be. But some people really need that money. So if you offer them an opportunity in a situation where they really need it, I can see somebody risking it because they really need that money.
Yeah.
And if you as a man, and I have a big problem with this. Again, my brother always gets at me for this. I expect people to handle shit the way they should, the way they said. Whenever you tell me something visual, I know you know this is true about me. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Unless, of course, it's something really drastic that happens that I can't. But I also hold people that way. Everything that come out your mouth, I hold you to. So, pause. But it's just like, I can understand them. If that man, assuming it's a man, but if that man stood in front of your face and tell you, hey, we're making a deal, I'm paying you X amount for X amount, boom, boom, boom. If you can't trust somebody at their fucking word, why should you take the blame for that? Unless that same person has done it to you multiple times. Or if you heard that same person has done it to other people multiple times. That's just my perspective.
Yeah, but what I'm saying at this point, if it's not one of the top leagues like URL or KOTD or RBE, which they're good on their word, on their money, you got to take extra precaution, man. You got new faces coming in, like you should know by now, like Cry Me a River, like you should know. Like don't be talking crazy when the shit happens. When you know it's a new face that's coming in, and it's apparent, that there's a big budget.
But this one's, I agree with you with all of that. I think what you just said is very fair. I'm just not gonna I just don't agree with looking at it like, guys, that's your fault. When again, you've seen this league have a string of successful big name events, and there hasn't been this problem. But I agree with everything else you said. Definitely.
And
what do we do next with these guys, though?
And even what good at contracts, anyways. This contracts thing tripped me out in battle rap because contracts don't ever amount to nothing. Who's the only one that's ever gone through and taken any legal action with contracts? Robin Rhymes. Did
she really do it though?
I believe so. But I'm just saying the court fees outweigh anything that you're gonna get paid anyways. Your time and court fees, because time is money. And if you're traveling, what's that mean for as far as getting to this other state, hundreds of miles away because of this, it's too much money to be lost. So what the fuck are contracts good for anyways?
So you and I have here and there touched on the issue, but never really got into it. But I'll just say you were involved with a project I was trying to do, and I went through it. I've said it on Twitter before, so fuck him. Newborn is one of the people who took a deposit from me and no show 2 times. We talked. The man gave me his word that he was gonna make everything right, and no show the second time. And then, of course, I could sit here and say, "Hey, I'm gonna try to sue him." But the problem is, just to get the paperwork drawn up and all that costs way more than what the fuck the deposit was. That's before you even. That's just getting the paper drawn. That's nothing else. You understand? So there are situations where it's just not worth the money. But
in the midst of disparity, like you said, some people might really want that money and hold it. just by chance, and it's like rolling dice. It's like going to the casino. You're either gonna roll or you're not.
Yeah,
You know?
and the thing was, prior to that happening, I've never heard a story of him doing it. Kind of find out, he did it to myself and We Go Hard the same weekend. He was supposed to battle for them on one day and battle for me the next day, and that whole weekend was just a money grab. He took my deposit, their deposit, and then a week later or a week before I took another deposit. So he just did everybody dirty, and at the time I wasn't aware that he was I've never heard nobody ever say that about him. Small leagues or big leagues, no one's ever said that. And kind of find out this is the type of shit he's doing. And then again, when we spoke on the phone, he was very, I don't want to say crying, but he was very, he sounded like he was really remorseful about what he did.
Apologize.
And was like, yo, let me make it right, this and this, copping the plea. You could tell he didn't want no problem. But I took his word as a man. He sounded like he really, was remorseful for what he did. And so I gave it a second shot. And what happens when that happens is you not only lose the deposit, and about this, like, I lost a lot of money that day. Camera stuff, fucking the location, so much money goes into all of this stuff. And I wasn't even selling tickets or nothing. This was how people were talking about some of these, I forgot the name of it, but URL did what I was trying to do. They fucking filmed these two dudes battling somewhere and put the shit out, no crowd. And I was trying to do something very similar, just a little bit different, in terms of how the storyline was gonna go. But it's a lot of money that goes into this. I didn't just lose that day. I didn't just lose his deposit. I lost the money I paid for the traveling fees for his opponent. You know what I'm saying? All of that. I lost a lot of money that day. And it's one of those things that whether you're the league or if you have the talent, at what point does you being a man of your word matter? That kind of shit matters to me, man. And like I said, man, I don't. It's not worth me taking newborn to court. But now, whenever he's on the card, he has to watch it. And it's not just, he don't have to just worry about me. He has to worry about a lot of people who he's done this to. Is that shit worth it? So just like these guys from Guardians of the Culture, is the potential problem worth it? You don't got people's money. You don't think that one of these days somebody might see you? And it might not even be the person who you owe the money to. It might be their family members or a good friend of theirs who just don't like what you did. It could be a supporter of battle rap who don't like that they feel like you did some grimy shit to their favorite. Might run down on it. None of that shit is worth it, man. And listen, you're not going to be a man of your word. It's going to tarnish your whole business, too. You know what I mean? Now, who's going to really trust them? Unless it's somebody, again, who really needs that money.
Yeah. If you're broke, sucks for you.
If anybody knows any updates on the situation or whether or not these guys will finally pay their money, please let us know too. Because if we're going to highlight that they did something wrong, I want to be able to highlight that they tried to make it right.
I think the guy Teddy Grizzled out of here.
That was Teddy Grizzled?
No, I'm just saying I think he just like Homer Simpson into the bush.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying he was involved in this shit. Then I was going to say, yeah, that's on the bad list.
But it ended up being one of those situations, it seems. Mel Man's on here, he says he tried reaching out to a few people about the situation. Nobody wants to get at him about talking about it. So, I mean, you can't blame anybody either if they don't want to come out. Yeah, it really puts you in a space where people just can't respect you. Like, I'm major on respect. I've been wrong in my life. I've been wrong in a few situations. I
mishandled situations before. Um, but it's always been a major thing for me that if somehow I was wrong, to try to make it right, even if it's a simple apology, or if it means that I have to go do something to make it right. You know, if I don't know, like whatever the situation could be, I tried to make it right. And it's just always about the respect for me. Like I don't ever want people to view me in any other way but with respect. It bothers me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit there and say, hey, Joel, you know, do X, Y, and Z, and me and you agree to it, and then I pull some fuck shit like. But I don't know. I don't know how do you really. I don't know if they had other partners. If that league was only run by one person. I don't know if they was you know, some of these guys be expecting sponsors and shit, and then sponsors fall out at the last minute. But again, like you should have the money to pay these guys, and it shouldn't have nothing to do with your sponsors. It shouldn't have nothing to do with nothing. It's part of the course of doing business. You know what I'm saying? And being a man of your fucking word. So even if it takes them another week to come up with the money, I hope that they do so and make this right with people, man. Because it's just not cool. It's just not cool. And you just don't want that, man. You don't want to have to be looking over your shoulder all the fucking time for something that you can make right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to
He said
another league that's
Mel said that's his home league, and there was, I guess, multiple people involved in.
Say that again. I didn't.
Mel said it was his home. It's his home league, and there was multiple people involved.
Who said that?
Mel man.
Oh, Mel man. What up, Mel man? Salute, man.
He wanted to get on it to talk about the situation.
Oh, that's on you. If you feel like doing that, I don't give a fuck. If we have time, I don't know if we have time, but we can. If you want, we can move on to this next topic, or it's up to you.
Polo stupid.
Who?
Polo. He put out. He posted a super soaker. Says JLegend, here you go. JLegend got mud ass.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I just got a picture of Polo at his job with a super soaker, washing his ass out in the locker. Pause, yo.
Mel, I don't know if I got your info, but DM me at Visual1. So yeah, so these quarantine battles.
I got mixed feelings about them, man. I got mixed feelings about them. It shouldn't be shocking, but I'm very disappointed in Rex. Rex basically took one of his mixtape verses, and it's literally a mixtape verse. He shot a music video and all of that to the shit, and then he went and spit it as his round against Will.
It was a Dot Mob music video, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Mook.
That I ain't gonna lie, man. First off, while he's spitting the verse, you could barely hear him. He's like mumbling and grunting, like if he's just practicing. And just a notice to all the battle rappers, I'm not saying you're not doing it, but I think you should film your rounds more than once and then deliver which one you thought was the best.
And this is the perfect situation to do it. You got creative control and multiple takes to get it right. You're filming something, you're submitting something. So there's no reason why you should do, unless it's absolutely perfect, but I doubt. I mean, unless you're on the stage, this is your opportunity in battle rap, because you never get to do it twice. Battle rap is a sport where you get to do it once, be polished. It has to come out. If you fuck up, you fuck up. Like, this is your
The
opportunity
delivery
to get
gotta
this
be
shit
on
perfect.
point, everything.
So there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing multiple takes. Even the biggest artists in the studio, they never get that shit on one take.
I feel like I want, because look, we were just talking about being able to trust the league, right? But then shit like this happens too, and it's like, how do you fucking trust the like, Rex, man? Like, come on, Rex. Like, come on, man. Like, and then you didn't have to rush in the footage either. You had time to write. You had time to do all that shit. Like, yo, man, this.
This guy put no effort.
But I'm sorry, man. I gotta blame RBE a little bit too, man. And I'm gonna tell you why. He did what he did when the first real battle was supposed to happen. Then allegedly, well, not allegedly, but he got into a car accident. Then a week, now I don't even think it was a full week later, he was jumping in for Snake Eyes on when Snake Eyes battled Ace Amin, and got into a brawl on that stage. So you couldn't come battle for us because you got into a car accident that you said was real bad, and you didn't want to go against the doctor's wishes. But then a few days later, you're up on the stage, jumping into someone's round and get into a brawl. The brawl ain't his fault. But then he goes to battle Rosenberg and lays an absolute egg up there.
You think so?
How do you book him again?
You think it was that
It's not
bad?
like you say, yo, I'm gonna let some time go. We'll see where Rex is at mentally in the next 6 months or so. Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't want to say nothing negative about Rex. I don't. Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck, Rex? Like, no, man. No. So I'm blaming this 90% on Rex and 10% on the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple things to talk about with that performance, that footage that was sent in. I mean, that's one of them. Recycling, I mean, really, like, it's a 1 minute round. You really can't come up with 1 minute's worth of material or minute 30. Like, that's bad. That's just bad and lazy, disrespectful.
That's what it is. It's disrespectful.
In this era, fans will find anything, especially fans that know your material. They follow you. They probably have you on Mount Rushmore. They're gonna say, "Oh, we've heard this before. Let me go look it up." No matter what, the internet is worldwide. Somebody out there is gonna find that footage where they've heard that shit before and put you on blast. Don't do it.
And you have people who are huge fans of yours who really know that shit by heart. Like, for example, we're talking many years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, maybe more. Especially in the DVD era. I would watch these battles so fucking much, I knew these dudes runners. There was a point in time where you could have asked me, I don't know, let's just say Mook versus Jay Mills. Just an example. If you would have asked me, yo, what did Jay Mills say in his first round? There was a point in time where I could tell you what he said in that round. I can't do it now. But back then, it was like that for me. I loved battle rap so much. Surf versus Young Ill. I fucking knew most of the bars for that, almost all. Hitman versus Arsenal. I knew all Hitman's rounds. Not all, probably the first 2 rounds. I mean, you get the point of what I'm trying to say. There are people out there who are still like that, who will remember the shit you said because they were fucking with it. And they hear it another time and they're like, whoa. So it's not, because, anytime you say something negative about these dudes, you're a hater. Sometimes it's just not hate. Sometimes it's fucking disappointment. I'm such a believer in you and a fan of you, like, fucking Math, Math, Cortez. I forgot, I don't remember it no more, but one of Cortez's rounds against Hitman, which, by the way, Cortez beat Hitman, but that's another story. One of his rounds, I memorized the shit. And had he said it again, it would have bothered me, but I would have to point it out. Like, Cortez, hold the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, for example, 50 Cent. 50 Cent, that was one of my favorites. And I remember listening to him on the radio, spitting, and then I would hear him say the shit in the song later. And I'm like, wait a minute, that was a fucking radio freestyle. How you put that shit in your song later? Like, 40 Cal. People don't know. 40 Cal, when he battled, I believe it was Sam Scar. I don't know if it was the first time or the second time. But one of his rounds, was it Sam Scar? Anyway, one of his rounds, he went and recorded that same bars on the Diplomat album.
See, I got no problem with that.
I'm not necessarily saying you should have a problem with that. What I'm trying to say is,
when you go the other way, pause. Like, I don't mind it. If you have a dope verse on a battle and you want to put it on track, I got no issues with that. Let your broader fan base hear those lines. But you can't reverse it though. You can't go the other way.
You know what?
Because it defies the laws. It defies the laws of battle rap and the way the culture is. The rules, the unwritten rules, that your material has to be fresh, unheard, unseen. This is why DME goes off so much on New Jersey Twerk, is because part of the reason is because he does this a lot, and DME is a purist when it comes to this. You know what I mean? And he wants, in a respectable way, so he gives him a lot of shit for it, and I think rightfully so.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, and it going to, recording it later. I can see what you're saying. I still have a little bit of a problem with it, I won't lie. But what the point that I was just trying to make was, sometimes people are just such a fan of your work, they will really fucking know that shit. Listen, from there might have been maybe 4 Tupac albums I knew damn near every fucking lyric to every song. You understand? It's just like, there are people who will point it out, and they're not hating on you, man. It's just simple like, wait a minute, I heard him say that shit before. I heard him say that shit on this song, and boom, boom, boom. And they're not trying to make you look bad or nothing like that. They're just such a fan of your fucking work that they memorize this shit, and it's like, yo, is this disheartening? And at this point, this Rex is fucking up his legacy. For me, I might not feel that way so strongly because I think I got to a certain point where I was just like, well, Rex is fucking up.
He's been going that route for a while. That's nothing new. He's been doing that for a while. That's nothing new.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That I think we got, for me, I got to a point where I was like kind of used to it, but then he comes out that Bill Collector battle, and it gave me a hope. You understand? It made me hype again. I couldn't wait to see Rex battle again. I remember couldn't wait to watch any of his other battles. Like, I wasn't the greatest Rex fan in terms of, like, it wasn't like he was my number one favorite battle rapper, but he was one of my favorites. And also, I'm from Harlem. So I always felt like, yo, he was representing us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, come on, man. Like, then think about it. It was a standpoint where Lux, Mook, Sirius Jones, Jin, 40 Cal, the list goes on and on of guys who you no longer saw in battle rap anymore. But you saw guys like Math, guys like fucking Rex, still up there putting on. And Rex, to a degree, battle rap wise, put Harlem and put URL on his fucking back. And it was like, Not to see this shit is disheartening, man. It's fucking disheartening. I don't want this to be my last memories of fucking Rex. And like I always say about battle rappers, entertainers. Let me say this: entertainers, or anyone who's selling me a product. If I put my fucking money up, I want my money's worth. I don't want to feel like you scam me out my fucking money. Who wants to feel that way? So when I buy a pay-per-view or something, and I'm buying it because I want to see you do your thing and so on and so forth, I don't give a fuck if I didn't pay to watch you. Let's say I paid to see the other battles on the card. I still paid. I don't have an opinion.
Well, Rex is like an old dog that's got arthritis. That dog ain't gonna be running around again like he used to. I mean, it's just facts. The way that he's been declining for years now. I mean, and this is not all to put it on Rex. I mean, we're talking about the quarantine battles in general. There's different aspects of these quarantine battles. Like, battle rappers may not know production. They may not realize that you put the phone down, if you're doing it from your phone, that you're stepping away, the audio quality diminishes when you're not going to get good, especially if you're moving around. Like, you can't always blame them because they're ignorant to how the hardware works.
You're right.
They're not in that field. They're not part of that. They just go up there and perform. This is new to them.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right.
What I do suggest.
I want to take an opportunity real quick. It's something I have to do also. But to whom it may concern, there is a Rode mic, a small Rode mic, that you can buy that's compatible with a lot of cell phones, and not just cell phones. You can use it for your iPads, and any fucking tablet that you have. There's a Rode mic. It's a small one, but it's better than, it'll help you a bit more with quality, and it'll pick up a bit more that you can buy. Now, I have a $600 fucking lavalier set. You know what I'm talking about with Joel. You helped me out with it before. That I need to use more. I have a fucking few $1,000s sitting in the fucking bag, actually in Jersey right now, but of camera equipment and all this stuff that I don't use. Dope ass sound equipment. I'm a fool for not using it more, but like I said, right now I don't have it around with me. But for you people, anybody, when you want to blog, or you one of these, your battle rapper right now who might be doing some more of these quarantine battles, so to speak, I think it's a good idea for you to invest. It might cost you, I don't know, anywhere from $50 to $70 for this little mic. But invest in yourself, man. Why not?
You're getting it for like $15. If you go on eBay and look up,
some of them be broken though. I've seen people.
Cell phone lavalier. But I'm just saying they're obtainable very cheaply. You can get a cheap one. What's it take a few days to get it mailed out to you? I mean,
definitely.
That's just
you
one.
can also go on B&H. You guys check out B&H.
They're a little
check
pricey.
Out, I forgot the name of the other store I shop at. It starts with an A. But you go on their websites, and sometimes they have used ones. Might not be as cheap as $15, but Visual's right. You can go on eBay and find them $15, $20.
Yeah, that's like bottom of the barrel, like the cheap stuff. It'll probably break on you, but I'm just saying, like, they're obtainable very cheaply. Like, if you want to spend a little extra bread, you can, and get something a little bit more quality. But the point is, it's gonna you're gonna be able to have a lavalier on you. That way, your sound isn't diminishing the more you step away from your phone. If you're doing it on your phone, I mean, I understand a lot of these guys may not have a camera or may not know somebody, or especially in quarantine, you can't get out to meet somebody with the proper equipment to do so. So the do-it-yourself homemade video, I mean, I understand it for the most cases is probably going to be low budget, but there's little things you can do that are just under $20 that can get you a better production quality, to push out your product. Number one, multiple takes. You don't have to do it in one take.
Yes.
Number
Yes.
two, proper sound. You know, try to invest in something that'll get your sound up. Because I'm telling you, unless you're right up to the phone, the audio's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Three, try to get, you know, even webcams are a little better than some of the cell phones. But
Yeah.
if you use a cell phone, have better lighting. Maybe do it outside. You know, don't do it with your phone up and down, or you know, like do it horizontal.
Not vertical, do it horizontal.
Yeah, because that's the footage looks like shit when it's up and down.
Yeah.
It's meant for like Instagram or you know that kind of style. You're watching this shit on YouTube. You want to appropriately have the appropriate aspect ratio for YouTube.
Yes.
You know, and these are the some of the things that they should be coached on. If you're running a series of these battles, like Adam, RBE, they should be coaching them, saying, "All right, these are the things that we would like you to do." You know, give them a list of how to and properly send footage. It's not hard. It takes a half hour to type up, you know, a list of things, you know, to help them better understand the curriculum of being able to send proper footage.
Well, I think that what you're saying is right on point. I think what you're saying is great advice. The only thing that I would say is that RBE shouldn't put too much, because you don't want people to feel like their creativity might be taken away. And this is what I mean by this. Sometimes these guys look at this and they'll say, "Oh, you asking for too much," and automatically it takes them away from. You understand? Now they already got a negative look. But you're 100% right in terms of telling them, "Hey, boom, we need the aspect ratio is." All of that stuff is so fucking important, because it's a certain look, and then when you edit it, so on and so forth, like, you want it to look right. You want to present it in the best way that you can. Me, myself, I've came to Visual. I've came to Visual about a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm not the only one, but these little things, the lighting and everything, Visual not just saying it. I've taken his advice on things, and I've seen a big fucking improvement. And some of these things are so small adjustments. It's not even like you gotta fucking do anything really that extra for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can have a shitty camera, and if you have the proper lighting, it looks like a good camera. Like a cell phone camera look like shit indoors, all pixelated, but you take it outdoors in the sunshine, and the shit looks great.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you're letting
You
in more
told me
light
that.
into the
You told me
lens.
that shit. I went and bought. You recommended lenses or certain lenses. I looked into myself and went and bought. But even without me spending what I spent on lenses, because of things you've told me and stuff like that, I was able to make certain things look a lot better simply on my fucking phone, because of what you was telling me about the lighting and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, coming back, I think you can bury the stigma of copying, as far as, oh, this league did it first, so now they're copying. Look, this is the time we're in. All this communication is a lot of it's being done through conference calls, just like this. And this is just the way things are going. This is not going to slow down anytime soon. You have to adjust to what's going on. And adjusting means these kinds of battles. Like, I don't care who put it out first. This is a no-brainer. You're going to have quarantine-style battles. You're going to have video conference battles. You got to keep the fans' content coming on your channels and on your platforms. And there's no way to do that except for this way. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, that the next step after is going to be video conference battles. On how you go about it, it's another thing. But this is the way that it's going to be for the time being, for who knows how long before this shit like slows down. So I've been hearing that kind of shit around the way too, like, oh, they're biting that, you know, who did it first, and like that's just ridiculous. Like, this is the way that it's gonna be for a little while now. Like,
Yeah.
get over it.
Honestly, I think that we're because we're going to talk about it next. But you have the Battle Academy doing their event, and we'll talk about that later. But I feel like we don't need to oversaturate this shit either, because the field is not the same field. It's absolutely not. And I just don't want to oversaturate it. And I also don't want potential fucking battles. Like some of the quarantine battles that have been announced. And again, it doesn't matter the leagues, different leagues, but I'm like, I just have this feeling like we're going to see this here, and either it won't happen on the stage later on, or we're not going to have the same interest for it on the stage. What's your thoughts on it?
I think we're going to be ready when the time comes, and we're going to be very excited for a main stage event. And that goes to with everything. We're going to be ready for sports to open up. We're going to be, like, I think we're at the point where we're getting cabin fever a little bit, like, we're dying to come out. We're dying for everything to open back up and the economy to open and start running again. I think that's going to be accepted with open arms. As far as oversaturation with these kinds of battles, I don't think so. It's oversaturated if the quality still remains shitty. Then you're not going to watch it. But if they keep improving and doing better with it, then I think that there's a market for it for the time being. And I posted on Twitter, I said, do none of y'all battlers have any video effects friends or somebody that you can go to better your footage? And I follow a lot of people. They can hit me up and be like, yo, what can you do with this? It doesn't take much. It might be a few little tweaks, but it's better than the original, better than not having nothing at all. And I heard criticisms from the Daylight Sioux Surf battle came up, for instance, and people shitting on that. I thought it was edited good. The way they chopped it up and the backstory behind it, that makes you think otherwise and second think things. But they actually, like, from a video effects perspective, and I see everything that they did. It wasn't bad. It's just something that we were not used to and willing to accept at the time. But everything that they did in that battle, it actually took effort, because I see it all. I see all the effects. I see what they did, and I think to myself, wow, they went to they went out of their way to do this little thing in the battle, and this takes time. Everything in that battle takes time. Whether or not you liked it, that's one thing, but it was creative at the time when they did it, and I think it deserves a lot more credit, because it's better than if you put that kind of shit in today's quarantine battles. It does a lot for the footage. Whether you think it's corny or not, it's better than some plain ass fucking footage of you rapping there. It's creative. It's art. Whoever was in the doing the effects, that's art to them. If I was doing it, that's my art. I'm creating something. I'm giving it sazon. Whether you like it or not. Like 40 Cows did a little thing with the Cortez. He did some special effects. I liked it. It was better than not having nothing at all.
I thought it was creative. So far, I think Street Hymns has the most creative. Like, I really liked what he did visually, but I did like what 40 Cal did. I also like what Cortez did. He switched it up a little bit too. But if we putting bars to the side for a second, just the creativity, I got Street Hymns #1 and 40 Cal #2.
Yeah, I like what Street Hymns did. I thought he took that battle. I thought he took it because he took an angle that worked with what he was doing. You know, he played it very well. Whether you want to say Sharon had better bars, that's another story. But as far as the quarantine battle and what they were doing there, the whole point of it, I thought Street Hymns had the better showing because he utilized the situation to his advantage, and he was able
Yeah,
to.
I agree with you because on first watch, I had Sharon winning, and you know, for the same things that you said, I was like, yo, even though Sharon was, you could tell he was reading the shit off the fucking phone. I liked his energy. I like the energy that I thought Sharon was straightforward on the attack, and I like the energy that he did that with. But I was still impressed by what Hims did that it made me say, nah, I gotta watch this shit again because I really liked what Hims did. By no means did I think it was clear on the first watch. I didn't think it was clear. I just edged Sharon because, again, everything I just explained. But I couldn't stop thinking about how dope that was what Hims did. Like you said, the angle and what he did creatively with the footage. I was like, nah, I gotta see this again, man. And, you know, I watched the battle about 3 times, maybe 4 times, and after that, I just kept saying, yo, Hims got this. Like, I think you explained it perfectly. For what it is, Hims hit the mark on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people may not know the backstory behind that whole,
Yeah.
you know, what he did there. Because
Yeah.
Sharon was supposedly a door-to-door furnace seller, and he was
Well,
accused.
it was supposedly, they had pictures of him.
Right.
King of the
That was his job.
I think it was Disaster. Somebody posted pictures of him.
But I think he made good bread doing it. That's the thing. And
Yeah.
as of now, I don't think, you know, he might be a millionaire. Who knows?
He said he is.
Yeah, I mean, I believe him. There's no reason not to.
But it's that and it's wilding out. So he was just expired.
Right.
I forgot. It was one of his last 2 battles. I don't know if it was against Rome or who he battled. A word that he battled. No, it was Rome. I think Jim's. And one of those 2 battles, he talks about it. And he's like, how he's saying, like, by the time he was 20 something, he's a millionaire or some shit. I think it was against Rome, but I'm not sure.
DME's barking on the chat. But
Tell him to shut up and zoom up. If he ain't zooming up, I don't want to hear him.
But yeah, I thought Street Hymns took that. I haven't seen a lot, especially the URL ones. I started watching.
I haven't seen any of them.
I started watching JC versus Drugs. I got through halfway. JC won second, and I think it was multiple rounds. But I couldn't get past JC's first round, like halfway through. I just ended up doing something else. So I haven't really got to see any of those. One criticism that I do have of these quarantine battles is a lot of the times they seem like they're whispering or talking low as if not to disturb either neighbors or the people in the house or something. That shit's got to stop. You got to come full delivery. You know, I understand don't scream into your phone, but if you're performing anyways and you're a couple feet away doing your thing, express yourself as you would on that stage, because a lot of this shit comes out, you know, overall is just underwhelming when you're trying to keep a certain tone and not raise your levels like you would normally.
It's a battle. It's a battle. I don't give a fuck if it's a phone battle, if it's a split screen battle. I don't care. It's a battle. You should be showing up the battle. Is it a different feel than being on the stage? Clearly.
But like you said, like, don't be afraid to piss off the fucking win. Like, dog, you battle. Fucking battle. I'm pretty sure whoever's in your household will completely understand someone's fucking paying you to do this, and you gotta yell at them. You gotta get excited a little bit. You might fucking, I don't know, punch a wall or some shit. You know, don't go that far. But, you know, like, show some passion. Show that you in a fucking battle. Like, come on, man. We need that. Other than that, it's like,
your audio's coming in a little funny.
mine?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so far it's been hit or miss. So I like some of the things. I don't like some of the
I
things.
like Ill Will's real, man.
I
I like
I,
Ill Will's
I
real.
didn't see the first. I've only seen like 2 or 3 of them.
No, Ill Will, he battled Rex. His round against Rex was dope, man.
But those were split, right? Because I've seen some that only have one piece of footage and then another video with another piece of footage, and I've seen ones that are
That Rex
together.
battle. Rex goes first, Will goes next.
Not, I remember seeing a video and it was only like Rex's round or something, and I
Because
thought.
maybe that's what you saw on social media. That's not what was on the
No,
YouTube videos.
I thought I clicked on I thought it was on RBE's channel. I could be wrong, but I remember only seeing Rex's round and thought to myself, well, I guess they're splitting rounds up.
No, man, Ice was supposed to battle Show Off. So I don't know what happened there, but he spit around to Show Off. That was just him. That was dope. Somebody else did that too. It was 2 battles. I guess that was supposed to happen, and the person let off the round. So, but T Rex went first on the same video. It was Rex, and then it was Ill Will. Ill Will had the black and white footage.
Yeah, I might have seen the wrong piece of footage, but I did see Rex's footage. It was pretty terrible. You couldn't understand anything. He was aggressively mumbling, and I don't know whether that's because he was away from the camera. You're outside. Obviously, the acoustics are open, so you're not going to get good audio.
Either way, he was doing that shit like if he was just practicing in the corner right before the battle.
Yeah.
With the mumble was in the shit. No, man, get the like Rex. Come on, Rex. Come on, man. Like you gotta know better than this shit. Then his arm got stuck in the fucking tape. I don't know if he did that on purpose. It didn't look like he did that on purpose. Like, yo, come on, Rex.
Jay, can you reset or something to see if the audio gets fixed?
The only way for me to do that is to exit out. You heard?
Yeah. So while Jay's trying to reset this, because I don't want the bad footage to come out. He sounds like a robot. I hope you're enjoying the live. I see DME in the chat, Capo. I seen Shannon popped in. A plus popped in for a minute. Heavy bags. Hell, happy Easter, everybody. I hope you're having a good holy day. Everything was supposed to open up by this time, but this virus got us by the nuts. And I will timestamp everything. DME, what are you doing, DME? Are you home? Are you out and about? Alright, so Jay's taking longer than expected. Okay, sir.
What was going on here, man?
You back, you back.
Yo, is that what happened with Mel too, or no?
No, he never. I never gave him the info. I'm not sure if I got him on Twitter. I think I do, but he didn't come up when I searched for him. But he said he couldn't do it today, so kept it moving.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought Ill Will clearly beat Rex. He had a dope round. I think Sharon and Street Hymns is pretty good. I'm going with Street Hymns. You said you didn't see the rest, so I'm not gonna go down that whole list. Um, maybe I'll do a separate blog on that. But I just want to get back to the Rex thing. I know we talking way too much about it, but I said RB deserves some blame for that shit. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I get that everything's new. This whole format is new. So, like I said, there should be, like my advice to RBE is to.
I'm not talking about it from the technical standpoint.
No, because I don't think it's RBE's responsibility to do checks, to check if it's a mixtape bar or some shit that, to go back. If that's the footage he felt like he wanted to submit, I mean, it's on RBE whether they want to put that out, and they did.
I don't mean it from that standpoint. I'm talking about what I said earlier, which, like, if you take the gates of the Guardians of the Culture, well, if you take that conversation, and then when we go into what I said earlier, if Rex did what he did against in the Ill Will situation originally, and then did what he did versus Rosenberg, you don't blame RBE for booking him again?
I blame everybody for booking Rex at this point, but I mean, what are you gonna do? If people want to see Rex, Rex is considered a Mount Rushmore to a lot of people. Like, whether or not half the fan base want to see him or not, he's gonna get booked because of his legacy and who he is. They can roast him if they roast him, but even coming out and roasting him, it's publicity at the end of the day. So, it doesn't hurt RBE either way. People are still probably even talk about it more so because of it. And even bad publicity is good publicity because you see, they're talking about the battle. So it's going to cause more people to go see what they're talking about and cause traffic and create a buzz. So, no, I don't blame RBE for it.
Yeah, I do.
But I do think, I still do think they should have standards and have a coaching system, or at least a checklist that they give to the battlers. You've had your first round of things, you know what to expect. All right, now step it up the second time around. Because in ARP's interview, he said that they're not done. He's looking into a whole new second wave of these battles.
Yeah, he was talking about doing it before they even put out the first battle, and they didn't even have all the fucking footage yet. Yeah. And that's another thing why I was frustrated with them, with ARP. It was just like, yo, before you start even fucking talking about doing that, make sure this shit is right first. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to diss RBE. I love them guys, but like at some point you have to take control of shit. You can't. You just can't have this shit happening, man. You have to sit there and put yourself, like, for example, you got RBE or you got ARP on a fucking bike and then on the beams in his fucking house before the battle. Then you get the same long ass coronavirus fucking intro, and I understand they're probably doing it because they want the video to last a certain amount of time. Maybe that has something to do with monetizing. I'm not 100% sure.
No, I'm sure.
But what the fuck? Like, yo, we don't need to see this shit every fucking time. We don't need this long, drawn out shit every fucking time. Okay, before you go and start doing a whole second wave of shit, hey, put out the first wave, let it marinate, I still wouldn't even. They was putting out like one battle a day. I wouldn't even did that. I probably would have put the first. I probably would have did it every other day, just to get the feedback. Get the fucking feedback, man.
Or ask the battlers for 1 minute each of promo time talking about the battle, and edit it up to take up the space that they need in the beginning before, But yeah, it is pretty. It is bad just seeing the same intro for each battle. It's very repetitive, and you just want to.
When that shit is
you're gonna skip right through it. Due to the analytics and everything, you're gonna skip right through it anyways. The analytics show how much time you're watching and what gets skipped and what doesn't. So regardless of the fact that whole first half is gonna get skipped right through. So it might as well make it worthwhile to have the battlers do 1 minute of promo and chop it up.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Have the battlers do 1 minute of promo and then you chop it up back and forth with them talking and to take up that time. So you're not seeing that.
I actually like that idea. I like that idea. Almost like a little bit of a face-off without being in front of each other.
Yeah, it doesn't take much effort either. You just sit there and talk for 1 minute, 1 minute 30 about the battle or what you're gonna, how you're gonna roast him. He can't mess with me. Like do whatever you can. Some B-roll,
Definitely B-roll. I think a lot of the footage we've seen could have used some help with B-roll. I really think B-roll could have helped with a lot of shit with these guys. But, like I was saying, I think also the mistake that ARP is making is you keep reminding people of all the shit they're upset about right now. Like, we don't need to hear Cardi B screaming coronavirus in our fucking ear when we try to watch the battle, fam. Again, like, if this is our escape, why? Why are you feeling that the title isn't enough for you to remind us of this shit? Come on, man.
At this point, we get it.
Yeah, and maybe later on, I'll find this timestamp and send the shit to ARP.
Yeah, I mean, even if you talk to, if you talked personally to any one of them, Lawrence, or just.
I haven't talked to ARP in a long time, personally.
Maybe you.
Actually, I don't know if I said something that pissed ARP off, but I mean, he still tags me on every fucking thing. But promotion and talking to somebody ain't the same shit. And I don't know because I've invited him multiple times for us to talk. There's times he tell me yeah, and then it don't happen. So like I told Lawrence, I don't know if I ever said something that pissed him off, but I'm never gonna get on this camera and say a bunch of good shit about you and never say something I don't like. I've never said nothing disrespectful about any of them. In terms of league holders, I've never said something that you can see as disrespectful. I pointed out shit that y'all done I don't like, but I don't never say nothing disrespectful. I think the only one who could honestly say, they might not necessarily like what I say sometimes is probably, I'm talking about battle rap, is probably Sharon. But I never say that. I don't think I'm disrespectful on Sharon. I think and I've definitely given Sharon his fucking props when it was due. Sharon in the last few months has made me pay attention and watch. He battled A-Word, I watched it multiple times. I would never. He battled James, I watched it multiple times. I would never. He battled Ron, I watched it multiple times. I would fucking never. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I hope that ARP and RB staff take. I know when I talk to Lawrence, he's more open to suggestions, but I don't know, we'll see what it is. But I do think before they put out a whole new wave of shit, because I think on this card they were supposed to have like 12 battles or some shit like that.
It was a lot.
Before they put a whole other card, they definitely need to take some of this fucking feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, I see how URL's doing it with their editing. They actually have a round for round, and they do jump cuts to the battlers, and then smack is in there, and then it goes full screen to the battler. That I like that approach more so, but I equally like RBE's approach to letting the battlers do whatever they want with their footage.
Yeah.
If only the footage was done better, if they were able to produce better quality content for the submission, it would make it that much better and go toe to toe with what URL is doing. Because let's be real, everything's a competition with this, you know.
The competition don't end, but I think the competition needs to be taken a little bit more serious from the battle rappers. Like you said, like we wanna. I don't want to hear you rapping like you scared to fucking piss off the walls, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's very apparent too. With a lot of these battles I've watched, I'm like, even Rex being outside, it seemed like he was.
high?
Oh, he was like mumbling, like he didn't want to like create a scene or something. Even
No,
like
but I
in his
think
own
he was
corner.
mumbling because he was like in practice fucking mode. Like, you know, he was high or drunk. I don't fucking know.
Like
But
when Street Hymns was at his door, he was like speaking low as if he didn't want to piss his neighbors off and create a scene. You know, this is what's going through my mind. Instead of enjoying what I'm seeing, I'm thinking to myself, why are they talking so low? Like it's
well, okay, so I didn't get that vibe. I see what you're saying now that you're saying that. I get it, but at the moment I didn't get that vibe because I felt like he kept changing his tone during the battle. Maybe I'm wrong.
maybe it's just me the way I through my eyes the way I see.
No, he definitely had a part where his tone was different, but I thought he was doing that on purpose. I thought he was like going up and down, you know, with the cadences. I think you know what I'm saying. That's the way I saw it.
I thought it was too low across the board. I think everybody needs to turn up.
No, after you said that, I do see it a bit differently now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short battle. Watch it again, and you know, you'll be more drawn to it. But overall, dope concept. I'm liking, even though I haven't been in tune with a lot of the stuff going on. There hasn't been much, but for the stuff that that has been going on, I haven't been too in tune. But I like the creativity, and I like the things that they're making, like this situation is making people do to think outside of the box and to deliver more content and to keep actually. I know it may not always be the intention to look after the people and giving them content because the platforms are just trying to stay alive and keep content coming on their platforms, so they don't sink.
I just feel like it could be oversaturated, man. I really feel that. Like, it seems like almost every day I'm going on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm seeing an IG battle being promoted or fucking, I don't know. I just feel like battle rap has definitely been oversaturated. I think concepts have been fucked up. Like the band concept, I thought was so fucking dope, and then they messed that all up.
Why did they mess it up? Oversaturation?
What band?
Yeah.
Oversaturation, and they took away the whole purpose of band. The whole purpose of band was supposed to be battles no one knew happened, so on and so forth. And no, they started promoting it and doing all kind of promo and doing this and doing that. Then it went from here and there, band battle happening to whole cards happening. Then 2-day cards happen. That's not banned. How the fuck is you drew everybody in so crazy with the band concept? It was so fresh, so dope, intriguing, and then you oversaturate the hell out of it. Like,
Yeah, I guess it lost its way.
and quick. And it's, you know, and that's my fear for this, that I'll be honest, like, I just see myself, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But I see myself in the next week or so saying, "Fuck these quarantine battles. I'm not watching none of that shit. I'm just gonna go back to old battles." And the only reason why is because a lot of things that we've already discussed here. I'm not about to say nothing new that me and you ain't saying in the last fucking half hour or so. Tell wife I said hello. But same shit. It's the same. It's the same fucking, the same repetitive shit, and I don't know. I don't want to be sick with it, but I kind of feel like that's what's about to happen. I just saw another card today for, I guess, what's supposed to be an Instagram battle or some shit with Don Marino and somebody else. And I'm just like, well, then we're seeing, which I think is dope, but I'm not intrigued by it. If that makes sense to anybody, you could think something is dope without wanting to be a part of it. But I see the battle between the producers and the R&B singers and rappers, and that shit is getting oversaturated, And I'm just tired of seeing all of that shit. I just feel like it's like it's the new wave, so everybody jumping on this shit crazy. It's like,
I mean, rightfully so, but it was a wave. It was a wave already, but I mean, this is what else are you gonna do? If you're passionate about this and there's no other way, then I mean, there's no other way around it.
There's such thing as losing passion, and I feel like it's not what I want. I don't want to now love battle rap. I don't want to battle rap on plenty of times taking my mind off of real fucked up shit that was going on in my life. I love battle rap. I grew up around battle rap. I'm from Harlem. Battle rap was just a part of shit. Like, you understand? Like, battle rap is pause, but is embedded in me. Like, for real. Like, I love battle rap. I love hip hop. Yeah. Battle rap saved hip hop.
For sure.
That's my perspective, right?
For sure it did in the past few years.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, when you say about like battle rap purists, I don't necessarily know that I want to I don't know that I fit that mold. Maybe
you do. You do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say I don't. I'm just not sure. But the thing is, just like, I just love this culture, and for everything else, it's so easy for shit to fucking die off. And when things are no longer your escape, when you're annoyed with your escape, then what the fuck else? You know what I mean? And it's just frustrating because I'm just like, we can't help this current situation, and we gotta do everything we can to protect ourselves and our family, but the flip side is we could not do too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to do too much. We don't have to do that.
Well, I mean, this also gives a stepping stone to, after this is all done and over, this doesn't have to stop either. So it also gives a platform and the idea that the seed has been planted, that things can take place in this manner too. And
not if you're bored with it, though.
Huh?
Not if you're bored with it. I think that you and I did a great job of constructive criticism. If you and I cannot, and I'm not just talking about me and you, I'm only saying it because me and you are talking. But if you and I cannot see growth in it, you don't see yourself being bored with it? You're not going to be bored with motherfuckers whispering? You're not going to be bored with...
Well, that's to be determined, Jay.
That's fair.
We don't know what heights this kind of a platform can have yet. And
that's fair.
Everything takes time to grow, but at least the seed has been planted, is what I mean, for to do more. because you already see different styles coming from the leagues that are doing this, you know, like, so me and you can throw an event and make it crazy because we have the know-how and the idea behind it. You know, we can make it even better than what we've been seeing.
You're right.
With the
proper
coaching, instructions on, you know, instruct the talent to do certain things a certain way, it could ultimately be very dope.
You're right. But that's what I'm saying, that if we see too much without growth, it becomes boring.
I agree. But there's got to be...
And that's pretty much what I was trying to say. Maybe I should have said it better. You're 100% right in what you're saying, but that's just how I view it. Like,
but there's got to be...
You know, if we see fucking 10 cards like this, like, from different spaces, and everything is boom, 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 oversaturated, and it's the same shit. Like, I really, and I'm not just saying it because I'm from Harlem, but it's a fact. I really loved what Head Ice did with what he did. You know, the different camera angles, the audio was clear as fuck, so it sounded like he recorded it. He probably did. It sounded like he recorded it in the studio. You know, they did a little bit of engineering, cleaned it up, and then they shot the footage.
Which is another great idea.
Phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, that if we're in a space, right, that, like you said, I thought you gave dope advice. And we're in a space where we can see a few things, cool. But if no one's given time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm shitting on RB, but I'm just saying, if you're going from a card you didn't even finish yet and you already talk about the next fucking card, you didn't clean this one up yet. So if we get a URL, King of the Dot, RBE, fucking Gates of the Garden, Trap New York, pit fights, fucking, the list goes on and on and on, A-Hat. Like, if every league jumps on this whole wave and we haven't even given ourselves a chance to see how can we improve anything, this shit gonna get real boring real fucking fast. And for me, and I'm not trying to deter anybody from how they view it. Just for me, it's not something I want to watch. And so I'll just put it to the side and just watch. And when I say old battles, I don't mean going back 8 or 9 years ago. And I've done that too. I'm saying there are battles that have been out a few months we didn't even know fucking happened. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind going to go see those battles, man. I don't. Last night I was watching fucking Coffee Brown versus Vixen, Vixen the Assassin. Phenomenal back. And I love the feel I got from it. And it's like, before I find myself in a space where I really start fucking hating to watch battles, I'm just going to go back to what I like about it. Because I feel it's better for me to go back to what was positive than to dwell on the shit that I found negative.
Now, also, Jay, these quarantine battles, they're 2 minutes tops.
Yeah.
How is that for you, like, getting through a faster battle?
It don't matter for me. And the reason why I say that is for everything me you already said. If I feel like you just spitting bars, you're not battling. If I feel like you're fucking whispering, if I feel like, and I'm not talking about just one time. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if this becomes the norm, you understand? Like, if I watch 10 battles and this is what you're giving me, I'm not gonna want to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, but it's like a quarter of the time of a regular battle.
It won't matter for me. I have something else negative I want to say about this card in the fucking RB. I'm gonna save that because I don't want to feel like I'm bashing. But I don't care if the whole video is only 2 minutes long. I don't give a fuck about that. I love the bars. I love all of that. You know, I've watched battles that was an hour and a half. I stood on my fucking feet for Mook versus A Verb and then watched it 4 more times. You understand? Like, at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make is time is not about that. It's about what are you getting? Is it battle rap? A quarantine battle on camera clearly isn't what we are accustomed to. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem if it's oversaturated and it's the same lazy shit. If you spit bars like this and we're trying to figure out what the fuck you really saying, doesn't matter.
Like,
I don't want to watch that all the time. I don't want to see that shit all the time.
like Rex?
I don't.
Like Rex did?
Like Rex did. But Rex ain't the only one. But I mean, he's the only one who did it how he fucking did it. But you know, like I said, I just don't want it to be to a point where we don't feel like it's battling. If it feels more like spoken word, there's a place for spoken word. I don't feel like just watching straight spoken word. I'm sorry.
Did you see?
By the way, if you are into spoken word, or if you're just a fan of Loso put out some dope shit. Go watch it on his YouTube. I believe it's his YouTube channel. If not, go on his Twitter, and you'll find the link for what he did. I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw a portion of it. I love the way they lit it. I like some of the stuff they did with it. I do plan on watching the whole thing. Go check that out.
Did you see Floss the Boss versus Big K? Did you get to see that one?
Yes, I liked what Big K did with the footage. I remember he was the first because they were the second battle. The first battle was Ill Will and Rex. I thought Ill Will had a dope ass round though. And I got the feel from Will like he was battling. I got the feel from Floss the Boss like he was battling. Big K, I kind of got that feel, but I was more intrigued with what Big K did. Did you see what he did?
I did. I was still stuck on his levels again. He wasn't really like projecting.
I agree. I think if he didn't do what he did with the different, like him reacting to his own bars, which was dope. Narcissistic is a motherfucker, but it was dope. If it wasn't for that, I think it would have bothered me more his tone.
Do you think artists aren't taking advantage of this time, of the way things are enough?
No. There's clearly, okay, so the problem is, Joel, you and I, in many ways, and people might not necessarily really know it, but you and I are creatives in a lot of ways. Some of the shits you've done for yourself and others have been phenomenal. But your creative is a bit different than my creative. But it's still creative as a motherfucker. I've done a lot of work filming shit, comedy shit for other people, filming shows. I've done a lot of things that's creative from my perspective. So when you and I talk, me and you understand the possibilities. And where our mind is where we can take this simple shit to. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have that. But this is the time where you have the opportunity. There's so much you can do. Me and you already named a bunch of shit they can do. Whether it's effects on footage, whether it's recording it multiple times and just getting the best take possible. Maybe it's just editing it. Maybe you record it 3 times and take a piece of this and put it together. Maybe it's camera angles. Maybe it's fucking filters. Maybe it's lighting. But the fact that you're home and you don't have to get on that stage means you can literally do so much with this shit. Like, you know? So no, I don't feel like they're taking advantage of it. No. Even Floss the Boss. I like what Frost did. The talking to the dog and all that shit. But I felt like maybe he did that in one fucking take and then that was that. He could have did so much creative shit with that.
Yeah, the idea was good. I thought it was boring though. The lighting was bad.
He had the light from his fucking dining room or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you gotta, if you have an idea, sit on it and find a way to make it better.
Because it was a dope idea.
Yeah.
The moment I saw it, I said, yo, the execution ain't there, but the fucking idea. The bars was there. But the execution, I said, damn, you know, Neil Frost is pretty cool, but he's not like he's my fucking friend, and it's definitely not like he's my neighbor. But, like, when I saw what he did, I said, damn, I wish he knew he was doing that shit, because, like I had a million ideas when I saw the premise, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, fuck, like, yo, it would have been dope just to change the camera angles, not have the dog inside the fucking cage the whole time, maybe face off with the dog, like there's just so much dope shit you could have did with that shit, you know what I mean? And you had the time, you had the fucking time. You didn't have to rush and just say, oh, I gotta write a line, come up with video concept, all of this shit, come up with a gimmick, and it has to be in within the next hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a little more time for you to adjust it. And again, he's not the only one who did that. So, in the grand scheme of things, like we said, Head Ice and fucking and Street Hymns and 40 Cal, I think they understood what was in front of them, and you know, just took things to a whole other level, which might be simple to many, but it's just about that. Just let it stand out a bit. Just be a little more creative.
Yeah, I would tell somebody, like, if I worked with somebody, I'd be like, get yourself a green screen, and go to any, like, fabric store. I know fabric stores aren't really open because that's not essential.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're gonna have a hard time doing that right now.
But
it doesn't stop creativity.
You can go to Walmart, and Walmart has a section of that shit. You can go to Home Depot.
Yeah, the art section. You can go right to the art section and get
it. Yeah, Home Depot got green paint and some you know, the art section has poster boards that you can put up. Any little thing, and get your editor to spice it up however you want. You can have whatever you want in the background. Have lightning shooting out and fire and any crazy thing.
Talking about fucking lightning shooting out.
Yeah, I mean, I've had ideas. I do some crazy shit. Have you looking like Raiden in this bitch?
I was just about to say, you motherfuckers want to look like Raiden, you better hit bitch well up there. You won't be out here looking like Zeus throwing thunderbolts and shit.
Give me 1 minute, Jay. Entertain these guys. DME says, free Floss the Boss's dog.
Yeah, when you're done, I gotta go take a piss myself, man. But again, none of the stuff that we say should be taken like we're bashing dudes, because we're really not. We just actually giving constructive criticism. You see, we're giving people the answer to what might make this work a little bit more. What I want to see is, I want to see some of the ladies get involved, man. So far, maybe I missed it. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I haven't seen none of the ladies get involved. I'm not a fan of I don't have the TikTok app, but I see some of the shit that people are doing with it, and they putting that footage on Twitter. I like what the ladies did earlier today with that whole the battle rap ladies. They did the Don't Rush challenge. I don't know if that's what you call it, but they did the shit where they're like sitting in their regular clothes, then they throw a book to each other, and then, you know, they get dressed differently and shit. I thought that was dope. It was crazy that they cut off Vixen, though. I wanted to see what Vixen was going to look like. Vixen is a hottie, but that's a whole other subject. But I think that if we're gonna have these quarantine battles, so on and so forth, get the ladies involved. Let's see how creative the ladies take it. Some of them might take the shit to a whole other level. You might actually get something really fire from them. We know the ladies can spit bars. We know these ladies can rap. Some of them can literally rap with the best of them. We got ladies like Official, E Hard, Jazz, 40 Bars. This goes on. And these are girls who battled guys before and showed you they're not good female battle rappers. They are good battle rappers. Fuck the gender part. But again, I don't know that it hasn't happened, but I want to see the ladies get involved with these quarantine battles. Let me go take a piss real quick. So now you get entertained.
Yeah, there's no reason why, like, the ladies should be left out of it. And this is the perfect opportunity. Like, even if a league isn't setting it up, it's 1 minute battles. Like, it's not much effort. Like, if you're a battler and you're a creative mind, you can come up with a 1 minute round and set it up yourselves. This is the time to promote your own channels and not wait on a league to book you. I understand everybody want to get paid, but publicity goes a long way in building up your channels and your platforms, and your fan growth is just as important. This is a good time, even if you're not getting booked, to set something up yourself and get something on your channel. Start up a channel if you don't have one, and blog and promote your battle on blogs, and you can put out your footage. Collaborate with some of these artists. They're not doing shit. I know everybody's busy, but at the same time, in the quarantine, a lot of people do have the time, and they want to be creative and express themselves creatively. So this is the perfect time to do that. Don't wait for a league to book you. DME says he's cooking Easter dinner. Wonder what DME's cooking. DME, you eat pork, DME? Do Chaldeans eat pork? Making a ham. I know you're not making lamb chops. You're tired of those lamb chops.
We need to send some of them lamb chops this way, man.
DME says JLegend's fake news.
Who said that, DME?
Your comrade.
Comrade? What the fuck is it?
I don't know if you heard me, but I'm just saying, like, this is a perfect time for, to start up blogging channels or your own channels and promote. And you don't have to wait on a league. You can put out, like, a lot of the, if you're creative and you have the drive, like, you want to, like, exercise that creativity, like collaborate, reach out to other battlers, like I was speaking in reference to the women, and use it as an opportunity to start up a channel and build a fan base that way, and promote these one-offs on video. And there's a lot of things you can do to express yourself creatively. I know you want to get paid and everything, but sometimes the fan growth and building your own platform, in a sense, is just as important as that paycheck. And if you're talking long term,
it's more important. It's more important. You gotta understand something. The paycheck, especially the way YouTube is now, they're dead and shit over the littlest things. So if your mind or anything is in it, I'm talking about from blogging standpoint. If your mind is in any of that for the fucking check, then no, you shouldn't start your channel. It's stupid. It's not gonna happen. But if you're gonna do it because you want to be creative and you want to talk about what you're passionate about, absolutely. Visual's 100% right. Now's a great time to fucking do it. You have the time and opportunity to be as creative as you want. There's so much stuff out there. You don't have to see, and I tried to prove that in these last few days. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But you don't gotta always talk about the hottest thing right now. For it to work for you. Like, I took these last few days to really talk about what I really gave a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? So again, I agree with you. Well, it's a great time as a creative. It's a great time as a supporter of any hobby that you have. For you to put it out, start your channel up, get moving. People are watching now. People are looking for new things. But again, if your sole motivation is to get paid off this shit, it's not gonna happen.
You're not gonna make any money, but you gotta think of the bigger picture. Is creating traffic and just growth, fan growth, and just becoming something. You know, like something is better than nothing. You know, just starting up. It doesn't take anything to start up a channel, or if you want to do it on IG or whatever platform you're most comfortable with. You know, whatever the case is. I strongly always recommend YouTube for all artists because it's a huge platform that's always accessible and that everybody's on. Not everybody's on IG or Twitter, but everybody's always going to YouTube. If you're not going on YouTube, your family's going on YouTube, or your kids are on YouTube watching something, or like YouTube is just the way it's everything now. Like it's a monopoly. Like if you don't have a YouTube channel, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I have multiple, and you do as well. You know, for different topics.
But that brings me to what I was gonna say next. I hear you saying all this shit. When the fuck we gonna start seeing some visual blogs, some battle rap boutique blogs?
Well, I've been in the selected few that's been busy. You know that I've been gearing up to do shit.
You've been busy lately.
Yeah.
You were branding your channel damn near a year now.
I've been busy for a couple months because I've been rolling this out, and I've been working a lot to make sure this became a possibility. Everything that I'm doing. But
with much respect too, man. I tell you, I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you.
But within, this past week, like I've been I've talked to you, I've talked to DME, saying, I wanted to go live. My creative flow is going, so I wanted to jump on, and that's just with this genre. I also been thinking about doing stuff with other genres. But being in this situation has definitely promoted and encouraged that drive to want to do something and not just sit on my ass and not do anything.
You too talented, man. It's so much shit. I know it's time consuming, and then we got our personal lives, man, and our personal lives take fucking twists and turns all the time. But I've told you this plenty of times. I don't just say this because we're on camera together, none of that. But I think that you're one of the most talented dudes, not just in battle rap, just in general, man. There's so much creative shit you've done, and there's so much that you could be doing. I always look forward to see what you want to do next. I know it ain't always that easy. I mean, life can kick you in your balls sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately, with my shit, it takes, it's not as easy as just turning a camera on. There's a lot of forethought and planning, and, the reason why I don't put anything out is because I want it to be higher quality than just turning on the cam. But
it don't always have to be that way. Like sometimes, especially there are people out there who sometimes they just want to fucking hear from me. Like there's times I get text messages, DMs, or tweets or anything. Somebody's just saying like, "Yo, when you ain't putting shit out, like what's wrong with you?" And it's easy for someone else to get annoyed by that shit. I don't get annoyed by that because I just look at it like Well, somebody actually want to hear what the fuck you got to say. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. That's just dope when someone wants to hear what you got to say. Sometimes it is just as easy as turning on the camera. I understand that big picture wise, it's not what you want to do. But there's times that it's just that simple. Like sometimes just turn the fucking camera on and just go, man.
Yeah, I think it's just direction. I also like don't want to put that kind of content on my channel. Like everything, like it's a certain look I want to go with. That's why I haven't been putting anything out. And if I'm gonna put out something, it's gonna have that look. So I think there's a time and place.
And
for
that look
everything.
is fucking phenomenal, man.
So I think about open talk and discussion. I think this is a good platform to do it. You know, or one of your channels or DMEs. You know, but I have a certain look and feel that I always, from now on, want to just put on my channel. So that's why nothing's really dropped, because I haven't put the time, and it's a lot of time usually involved in doing so.
A lot of time. It's you know, you already know for certain people, like certain creative shit is just there. You know, I was talking with my son earlier. My son been drawing more and more, and I'm proud of that. You know, I used to be fucking so great, and you know, it's I know creatively the shit I could do is just, I mean, it's not there for me no more. It really ain't. But creatively, I know what I can do. I know. Sat there the other day and fucking did a drawing, and my cousin was sitting there like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong?" And I'm like, "Dude, the passion isn't there. And if creatively, of course, that could be there, but it's time. There's so much that go into all of that shit. And then, like when someone's able to see what you've done before, not only is that shit creative as hell, but it's clean as a motherfucker. You know, so you know that shit take time. It definitely takes time to get done. I've chilled with you, and we've done some green screen stuff, you know, and I was just having some fun. But you know, even that kind of stuff takes some work. It's not like you can just do it. Like, not that you can't just do it, but when you have a certain expectation, so on and so forth, it's just not that fucking simple. But I've been telling you for years now, stop with the bullshit. Let's go. Let's go. Even if we only see one from you every fucking month, we got to see something. Come on.
So Jay, shifting gears.
What's up?
What do you think about this tournament?
I got a lot of mixed feelings about it.
What do you think about the judges? Did you see the judges?
Yeah, it's hard for me to comment on it because I really don't want to come off like a fucking hater. But I just think that we needed a bit more versatility. First off, the graphics were fucking horrible. Let's get to that.
You don't like them?
Fuck no.
I like them.
Fuck no. I like the direction they were trying to go in, but no. Like, nah. That shit is, nah. I think using, no disrespect to them, but using Hip Hop is Real and 15 Minutes of Fame was only about promotion. I don't like that idea. I would have probably involved, salute to Party, I believe it is, Ledge. I was watching his live.
Shout out to Ledge.
Huh?
Shout out to Ledge.
Yeah, salute to him. I was watching his live.
A lot of good content.
I was watching his live, and a lot of the points he brought up is how I felt. I felt like we should have got some other influences here. We could have got Poison Pen involved. To a degree, you could have got Sarah Connor involved. You could have got a league owner who you cool with. You could have. I would go as far as to go get somebody from overseas to be a judge. I feel like a lot of the picks for Judge has to do with promotion.
Yeah, I have a problem with the judging because, like, let's take Knowledge, for example. Knowledge and Uncle Ra. Now, these are guys that come from a media, journalistic style standpoint where their opinion is usually neutral. You've never really seen strong opinions of wins and losses from these guys. So I don't see why.
I've seen here and there. I've seen Uncle Ra tell somebody to their face that he took their loss.
Yeah, but he's not strongly ever opinionated on it.
Yeah, he's not gonna break anything down. So I agree with you.
All right, your audio went down again. But that's my main problem with those is that they're usually neutral, unbiased, well, to some extent, media figures that you don't usually feel confident in their choices because of how they, how they are with their media. So it doesn't give me a good feeling that they can make the right decisions and choices because they haven't given me much to work on as far as seeing what their criteria usually are or seeing their opinions. So I don't like them too. Rita, a little less or so, have a problem, but she is Anwar's wife or girlfriend. Anwar is extremely biased. I mean, it's no secret. He admits that. But that is a conflict of interest, being so close to that and being so close with the affiliations that they have or that he has with certain groups and certain types of battlers. I do think she can make up her own damn mind. I'm not saying she can't, but there's always that to go on. Is this going to be a fair assessment in the battles going forward? The more Tony Bro is one that I probably have the least bit of a problem with. I think he's very knowledgeable as far as what's going on. He has his ear to the street constantly, and I think he could give people their fair shot.
Let me comment on that for a second.
Your audio's
I'm gonna leave and come back. But
Right.
make sure you gotta let me back in.
yeah. All right.
Good.
Yes, sir.
You hear me?
Yep.
So again, what I'm gonna say is at risk of being called a fucking hater. We already know Tony Bro don't like me too much, and that's cool. I don't give a fuck. I don't think he should have been picked as a judge either. And here's why. I don't know. I don't watch their show, so I don't know how currently he is with shit. I know before when I've heard him talking to Angry Fan Show or whatever, he definitely seemed like he knew what he was talking about. I've seen him tweet plenty of times. I don't think that he's not knowledgeable. I'm not saying that. I think it's just a bad idea to have so much media / bloggers or whatever the fuck you want involved, especially if people may or may not have to worry about their relationships. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that, no disrespect to Rita, I don't know her. I've never even seen her. I've never seen her on the show. I know she's on the show. I never watched. I think that just these platforms that are based off some of these things, and especially, like you said, about biasness, she could definitely make up her own mind. But I just think, again, I have no personal towards none of these people. It's a dope look for them. And if anybody deserves certain opportunities, of course, it's the people who've been putting in the work. But like when it comes to Anwar, I think he's a good guy. I think he's a genuine guy. But Anwar himself has said when he started being on Champion, he had just started watching battle rap. So my thing is just to say this: when you have too much media on here, all this media should not be judges. I think if you wanted to add a media member, okay, but it can't be this much. Like you got Jay Black, Uncle Rob, Vita, Tony Bro, and who else?
Not Jay Black, it's Knowledge.
Knowledge, but then they just showed Jay Black as one of the judges too.
I haven't seen that, no.
Unless he's the one hosting it.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about Jay Black. I think the fifth, I think, judge is being left for the fans.
Yeah, but I saw they did one of them caricature things for Jay Black, and then it showed they put that caricature at the tournament bracket. Maybe he's hosting it.
It's possible. I haven't seen anything recently like that.
Okay, maybe he's just hosting it.
Or his
the point I'm trying to make is you have the whole the panel is only media. I think it's a bad idea. I think it can also lend itself for people to feel like there's a biasness that there might not have been. I feel like their relationships may or may not lie into this. So if it was up to me and I'm picking the judges, of course the fans should get a vote. And then I would have maybe put only one media member if I'm going to go that route. But I'm also going to look at league owners or promoters that we've worked with before. I think we're going to go get, if it was me, I think we're going to get one of these veteran battle rappers who is not and hasn't necessarily been part of one of these battle rap groups. I'm looking to do stuff like that. I'm looking to get. I want somebody from overseas. That's a different perspective. They look at things differently. Some of them people over there might appreciate battle rap more than we do. Some of them appreciate hip hop more than we do over there.
It's a fact.
So I think I would want just I would want just a different, just a variety. You understand? I want to have a variety of people involved in this. I don't. It wouldn't just be all these media people. It just wouldn't be for me, man. And again, I know some of these dudes might hear about it, maybe they won't, and get all in their fucking feelings. I'm not trying to dish you as a person. I'm simply stating my opinion. It just should be more diverse than what it is.
DME says Jay Black's the host.
He's the host, okay.
Yeah, but I just want these battlers to get a fair shot. You know, that's the thing. That's the biggest problem I have with some of these judges on the panel is, are they going to get their fair shot? Is the talent going to get their fair shot? And nobody should get robbed because of some affiliation or biasness or lack of knowledge. I don't know how far like an Uncle Rock can follow bars and knows the intricacy and backstories to some of the material and be so in tune with
references and stuff.
References, different media that might be mentioned. You know, different media gets mentioned in rounds, and if you're not one to follow, just because you have a top media platform doesn't mean you follow any of it. You know, from your peers. So.
Well, a lot of them platforms don't watch nobody else in general.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I think the tournament concept is long overdue. I've been waiting for something like that. Like, I'm glad that they're doing it.
Is it going to happen in person, or is this going to be
Well, that's another thing that they were pushing for April 18th or something like that. And they were pushing this before the height of this pandemic. And you can't bullshit me. Like, this shit's not going down. It's not. If major events if the whole country's shut down and everything major events is shut down, what makes you think this is gonna happen?
This might be a reach.
It
might be a reach, but do you think they filmed it already?
I doubt it. I highly doubt that. And this isn't just getting people all together in one place. Is people have to travel to get there. Like, that's not an easy task. Like, Dana White just got shut down. He couldn't do his event, and he has the most pull out of anybody to get an event popping. He was the.
Oh, he had the event set up, baby. ESPN pulled the plug on that.
ESPN and Disney. But
ESPN is Disney, but it's owned by Disney.
Right. So I mean, it's not going down. Like stop promoting it. Just be straight up and say we're gonna get to this as soon as we can. Like, it's ridiculous to be promoting it. It's ridiculous to put the talent's life at stake and health at stake for the sake of keeping your platform going. Like, put that shit on hold.
It's super. The last part you said is important for me, because I think it's super important to understand. You don't need this to keep afloat. You don't fucking need it. URL has been around, 10 years?
Yeah, 10, 11.
You still have battles you have not released. You don't need this to be good. You fucking don't. Like, I understand, maybe, I don't know what they're doing with this. I don't know if it's going to be a pay-per-view. I don't know. But if you put that to the side for a second, you guys can literally continue to eat off what you have on YouTube. You have stuff you put on your own app that you haven't even released to YouTube. You got, who knows, maybe 70 battles you haven't even fucking released. So there's a way for you to keep your app subscribers happy, and a way for you to monetize. You can put some of this footage out on YouTube, let it make whatever money it's gonna make. And right now, especially from big leagues, if you put out a battle, it's gonna do numbers. People are thirsty for the content, which you can't blame them for. Like, I just think I'm with you. Like, there's no need to put no one at risk, man. There's no need to put someone at risk when there's still ways for you to satisfy your current subscribers while still getting some money.
And that's the thing, that some of the battlers need the money, and they'll put themselves at risk and everybody else at risk just to chase that bag they're in need for it. Which is sad, but it's true. And it takes the bigger man, the man on top, to say, okay, like, put a stop to it. This is not going down. There's too much at stake. We're just gonna have to prolong it.
But what you see, this whole conversation is what made me. That's why maybe I was reaching, but that's what made me think of that. Like, yo, what are the possibilities they already filmed this shit? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they had filmed in the last few days. It's possible they filmed it before. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just bringing up the theory. Like, yo, would we be that surprised if it came out on that date and it's already, filmed like how they did UFF or something?
That'd be dope, but this was still, I can't believe that. You can't make me believe that this was done before December, which this shit was already circulating by December, January.
Yeah.
So,
but it wasn't being taken serious yet to the end of February.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's still no excuse in the grand scheme of things.
No, of course. I'm just, I guess, I'm just, looking at ideas, like, because I found it weird when I started seeing, like, the caricatures and all of that, which is all part of promotion. When we start seeing them being released, I was just like, yo, I don't know that you guys are gonna be able to do this shit. Just like Battle Academy, which we kind of whatever I don't know how long we've been on. I don't know if we got time, but is there a way to do this? Yes, but do I see this like coming up on the horizon? No.
If it's local talent, I understand. Like you can pull it off. Because these little leagues don't have much of a crowd anyway, so it won't make them that big of a difference.
It's still a hell of a risk. Having two people in front of each other might be too much. You're not testing them. You're not gonna fucking test nobody.
It is, but when you're talking min-maxing risks, I mean that's the lower end of throwing an event. But you're talking big league. You're talking battle like artists from across the country that have to travel to get to one spot.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck if they from the. I don't give a fuck if they from the same block. It's not worth it right now. It's just not worth it, yo. Is you checking your rear view?
Well, DME said it was formatted to happen on Gnome and Summer Madness, and he says Battle Academy is promoting an event for April 20th.
That's what I want to talk about. DME, fucking relax. That was already on the agenda, my man. Zoom up or shut up.
He said he's cooking Easter dinner.
Hey, by the way, for all my beer drinkers, I might want to fuck with this. If you like Blue Moon, you might want to fuck with this.
Don't fuck with that.
It's Dogfish Head. Pause. That's the name of the company. But it's Namaste White, a Belgian style beer.
Blue Moon tastes like flowers and potpourri.
That's not true. If you like regular Blue Moon with a little orange in there, this doesn't have a big citrus taste to it, which I'm happy. I don't like fruit in my fucking beer. But you got a little hint of citrus in there. Pretty dope. Check it out. I like IPAs. I'm an IPA drinker. This is not IPA though. It's Belgian white.
All IPAs taste the same.
No, they don't. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, sir.
Yeah, I don't think the event's going down. They should definitely be more responsible and just face the facts, push it back. Everybody's going to understand. It's not like people are going to bitch about it. I mean, look, I understand people need their money. Hey, you can send deposits out and still have an event and get the artists paid some money. You know, you don't have to risk so much in the process of just getting a concept and a tournament out.
It's not worth it.
We'll be lucky. Well, Gnome should have happened around this time, right? And then you got Summer Madness, which is just around the corner.
Well, the last two Gnomes were way off schedule. We're used to Gnome happening around this time. And the last two were damn near in the summer, the beginning of the fucking summer.
Yeah.
And then they still did Summer Madnesses, but they didn't make the last 2 years. So, you know, either way, it's too big of a risk. I don't care if you had two guys there. I mean, let's just go straight into that Battle Academy shit. We're not able to talk about that because I feel like what I'm saying about this also applies to them. You know, I'm not happy to see this shit. I see that Battle Academy. Here's the thing. Battle Academy in the last 2 years has steadily grown, maybe even rapidly grown. They put on definitely some dope events. They definitely had some dope matchups. What you feel about the performances are two different things. I still think we've gotten some dope performances out of it. But, you know, however you feel about that, that's up to the individual. You're having a league that's grown. Some people are still pissed off at the fact that some of your footage you sold to URL or have it leased to URL. You got people still upset about that. Now we got this situation going. I see that there was like some sort of promo. I don't know if it was a face-off or not, but it was J-Mon and E-Ness. Shit, I didn't get to watch it. I just saw it come up on my suggestions. And then I'm like, yo, what is this? Then I start seeing posts about it, and I'm like, yo, they're really going to try to go through with this shit.
Now I got some of the info here. I got the card here. I'm just like, yo, this April 20th, like they really trying to go in on this. They talking about it's just gonna be, it'll be safe. They're just gonna pretty much have the battlers there. This is a fucking horrible idea. This shit is not worth the risk, man. At first, I thought this was gonna be like, a quarantine kind of battle, a video battle. No, they're really gonna have the guys there, man. And they selling the pay per view. Yeah, Visual, what's your thoughts on that?
We'll just see what happens. I mean, it's irresponsible, but
What's possible?
I said it's irresponsible, but we'll see what happens.
Irresponsible.
I think if the world has to be put on hold, battle rap should be put on hold too. Fuck your business, fuck your platform right now. Work on alternatives. Everybody's going through hard times. This is just one of the things that you're just gonna have to deal with along with the rest of us, and stop trying to strike with when the iron's hot. As far as no content coming out right now, like it's not worth it.
It's not. As we spoke about, there are people who rely on this money. There's battle rappers and possibly even league owners who rely on this money. It's still a fucking horrible idea. Like, I don't care if you put 3 people in the room. There's a chance that somebody could get it. Somebody could catch something. This shit ain't fucking worth it. It ain't even a live pay-per-view. It's a VOD. Video on demand is going to be $10. I'm struggling with this. A piece of me is like, I see E-Ness, who I absolutely love to watch battle. I see J Murder. I love to watch battle. Bottom line is, I want to support the guys on the card, but I'm also like, if we really support this card crazy, does that just start setting a fucked up trend?
Yeah, so it's setting a bad example.
So that's why I'm struggling with this. April 20th, this is a bad idea, man. It's a fucking bad idea, man. Either way, you're going to have guys traveling. You look at everybody on this card, they're all from the East Coast. Except Chef Trez, I believe, is in Atlanta. So that's the South. But when you look at everybody on this card, I'm like, okay, they're not far from each other, but it's still a bad idea. You got guys traveling. Excuse me. Some of them states might have travel restrictions, so some of these guys might be breaking fucking laws, and unfortunately, it's a bad idea, man. It's a bad idea. I'm more worried about dudes getting sick, or possibly, again, like we spoke about, there are plenty of people who are carriers who are not showing any symptoms. I would hate for one of these guys to be bringing some dumb shit back to their fucking families and regretting it forever. Like, it's a bad idea. It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
You want to get into the actual card, though?
The gates of the garden. I mean,
No, what the fuck you talking about? Battle Academy.
Yeah.
Where did you get Gates of the Garden?
No. I couldn't think of the name. I haven't seen the card at all.
You got what?
I haven't seen the card at all.
Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 battles. It's 4 battles. It's the Battle Academy Presents Stimulus Package. 4 battles, April 20th. Video on demand is $10, so it's not a live pay-per-view. $10 isn't going to hurt your pocket if you compare it to a pay-per-view. But, again, it just shouldn't be fucking happening. But, the headliners on the card is Bill Collector versus Chef Trez. I think this is a dope-ass battle if we put aside the situation. I think the matchup is dope. I would love to fucking see that. This battle, too, is just it's a style clash like crazy, man. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry, I missed some of that. I was reading.
My man.
I'm sorry.
You're very unprofessional.
I was reading what DMV said. He said they traveled to J Black crib, did that blog with like 12 people all in the room on top of each other. I was just picturing, yeah, pause. I was just picturing like the room all crowded with everybody breathing on each other.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they paid Jay Black for the promotion, and it's still a horrible idea. Jay Black, unless they really put a big fucking a check that you can't say no to, this was a horrible idea to even do the fucking face off like that. Like, anyway, it's Bill Collector versus Chef Trez, man. Like I said, I think it's a dope style clash, which is dope.
Yeah. Chef Trez is hit or miss. I mean, they're both kind of hit or miss for me sometimes. I think Trez, when it comes to like the freestyling thing, that's kind of his niche. You know, like some of his written stuff comes up short to me. And Bill Collector's kind of unpredictable with what he comes with. I love Bill Collector. I love that he's funny, and being funny is not always what makes him dope, because he went up against T-Top and delivered like the solid rounds that weren't jokey, and that were very dope.
Hitman, that performance versus Hitman was incredible. It wasn't jokey. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't based off jokes. Like,
yeah, so
especially that first round. That first round wasn't really nothing. It wasn't really no jokes. He was straight. That was straight passion, and that first round was dope.
I like it. I'll give Bill the win on that prediction.
Definitely a debatable battle. To me, it was the most ball heavy I ever heard Hitman. I don't know.
I said I'll give Bill.
On this battle. We're not talking about that battle.
Right. I'll give Bill the W. I think he's a little bit more diverse. Just going toe to toe. I think he can bring more to the table. I thought he was going to be Rex, but Rex kind of kicked his ass.
That was a rare Rex, man. Yeah. Unfortunately, that was just a fucking. It was almost like a nostalgic moment with Rex.
Bill wasn't that good.
It wasn't bad.
Bill wasn't that good either.
No, I agree with you. But it wasn't. I didn't think he wet the bed. I don't think he was his normal self. I think he did let Rex get in his head a little bit with all the like the pre-battle shit. But Rex went in there, absolutely looking to kill.
You see, you got the Rex Bill Collector, which comes subpar, and then you have the Hitman Bill Collector, which is fucking great, and the T-Top Bill Collector, which is kind of a Bill Collector that I've never really seen before. The material he had and like everything, it was kind of like a fresh, new style that he brought to the table. It was like nothing I've ever seen from any of his rounds ever. Like he just felt like he outdid himself. Like he really went in and tried, and he put himself to the test. And I not to say he doesn't ever do that, but it was different. Like he tried a new formula. So you can get any one of those bills, and then you got the Trez, which you see him in the Sharon battle, nasty battle. That's one of the battles of the year. Dope battle. One of my favorite rounds from Trez is probably against Loso. He whipped Loso ass. That second round. That's a fierce Trez. And then you got a Trez that just misses a lot for me. The air balls with stuff, concepts I've heard before, just low energy, and just doesn't do it.
I always think that's been a problem, is the low energy, or maybe
it's like lack of motivation, right? It's like the motivation isn't there.
Yeah. Well, I actually think that this, because according to what they said, it's only going to be the two battle rappers in the room. Who knows how that's going to turn out? But at the end of the day, I think that actually favors Chef Trez. I think because Bill Collector's phenomenal, man. He really is, and he draws off the energy of the crowd though. And to not have no crowd, I don't know how Bill's gonna fare in that. You know what I mean? Bill Collector's just a fucking entertainer, man. He's dope. He's dope. But he's an entertainer, and he needs that energy. And for that energy not to be there, unless we're gonna see a bad Bill,
The tit for tat.
huh?
The tit for tat, like, you get Bill's energy can be amplified with his counterpart's energy. You know, like when they're bringing it, like it makes him turn up. I don't know. I got Bill Collector winning this battle.
I got Chef Trez winning it, man. I think Trez is gonna take this one. I think it's just gonna favor Trez because you're gonna get the opportunity to really hear. You know, I don't know. I think it just. Let's move on to the next one. That's Ines versus Jay Murder.
Enes versus Jay Murder. This is an interesting one.
I got Murder. Here's the thing. Enes is one of my favorites to watch. He is one of my favorite. Listen, if Enes is on the card, I try to be. Enes gives us his all in his performance and everything. You know, that flow of his and everything, just fucking incredible, man. But I do think that Jay Murder in this situation has the opportunity to show what I've been seeing in him in his last year or two, which is the growth in his pen. I think Jay Murder has become a way better writer and to a degree even delivering things better. Of course, we're going to get caught up in how dope Enes is and that, like I said, that flow, his whole style, it's just dope. But, you know, I think in this situation, I'm going to edge Jay Murder. That's also assuming it's a 3-round battle.
This is a wild matchup because when you think of a Jay Murder battle, like it's usually a battle that you're looking for a win for, which is not something you get with an Enes battle. I'm never looking for a W. I'm just looking to be entertained. That's why, like when Enes battled Franchise, I was surprised that because I wasn't going into that battle looking for a winner, but Enes
You wasn't looking for what, you said?
a winner. I was just looking to see how they performed overall because I'm never looking for a winner with an Enes battle. I'm just looking for a good performance and to be
Which
entertained.
he delivers 9 out of 10.
Yeah. So this is like a battle where you are looking for a winner on one and one you're not looking for a winner because a Jay Murder battle through his come up, you're always kind of looking to place him, to have a place for him, to see where he's elevating to see. To count those W's because because of his career, you just want him to come up and hopefully he does well enough to he keeps climbing, you know, where you don't care for that for Ines. So I mean it's contradictory for me to call a winner because I'm not looking for a winner here. But if I had to,
I think that's fair, and I appreciate you saying that because I think there's a lot of people, not a lot, but I think there's a good amount of people who think the way you're thinking, they just don't want to say it like that.
Yeah, I'm really not looking for a winner. I just hope they both perform. I can see Jay Murder in a judging aspect. I could see him winning because I don't really give Enes a lot of W's. I don't need to. Because they're W's regardless if I'm entertained enough and I like his material, no matter if he wins or loses. But if I had to choose, I'd say Enes, but I'm not looking for a winner. I mean, Jay Murder, but I'm not looking for a winner here.
All right, next battle doesn't make any fucking sense to me because it just happened a few weeks ago. O Solo versus Drake Dennis.
Oh, Solo, man. I don't care what you say about old Solo, man. He's entertaining. He can be talking straight garbage, and just the way he delivers it is usually entertaining. So, if anything, it should have been old Solo and Ines, right?
Yeah. Listen, Ines with a body. Listen, I won't be respectful, but Ines would definitely. Thank you. Ines would definitely body Solo. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, man, it don't make sense. This battle just happened on the track a few weeks ago. I don't know how the fuck you got a rematch that fast. Like, there's nothing on the line. This is not Chiller versus fucking Real Deal, but there's a title on the line, and like, it didn't make any sense to me. But Solo's not better than anybody. He's just not. Like, I don't like disrespecting nobody. I hope you don't take it disrespectfully. I'm just being honest. He's not fucking better than Dre Dennis.
No, he's not. Bar for bar, Dre Dennis is a better battle rapper. Dre Dennis is a beast. You can't say nothing bad about him because he takes some. He's such a veteran at this point. I saw Dre Dennis live come to my city in a little battle rap event and cook the hell out of somebody. And he's giving it his all, like just straight killing him for long rounds. And he does this on the regular. Like the guy knows how to battle.
He can definitely battle, man. Solo don't got a fucking chance. Only chance he got here is to do like you said. Most people do not watch Solo hoping that he wins a battle. They watch him to either laugh with him or laugh at him. People are entertained by him. There's nothing wrong with that, but they'll never fucking come to me thinking and tell me Solo's gonna win this battle. Like,
I got Solo for entertainment value.
Yeah.
That's it.
The last one
it's always hilarious. He's always hilarious. Like it's always fun to.
Well, that's what I say. You either gonna laugh at him or laugh with him.
But that's like another J Murder Ines battle. If I had to choose who's gonna be the better battler, I would say Dre Dennis. But entertainment wise, Solo all the way.
But there's more competition with Ines versus J Murder. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I would take Ines versus J Murder more serious than I would this.
I would say because they care more about that. Or Dre Dennis just battles. He doesn't care if he wins or loses, and neither does Solo. Who's the last one on the card?
Last one on the card is D.I. the Heady Man versus Fizz the Beast.
I don't know. D.I. by default.
Unfortunately, I gotta agree with that.
It's probably a local. Might be local talent.
This woman's over here cooking and drinking wine and got her music playing. She just, you okay over there? I'm enjoying the show. Should I get up the phone? What's going on?
Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on over there.
Okay.
DME says Dre Dennis overrated as fuck.
What? He's not even rated.
I totally disagree. I think he's underrated.
I'm one of the very few people who talk about him, and I don't even talk about him like that no more either because of some bullshit he did in my project. But no, Jay Dennis deserves a lot more respect than what he gets, man.
So yeah, DI by default, because I don't know who the other dude is. Shout out to DI.
Yeah, salute to Di, man. Di is a good dude, man. Di can fucking rap. I've heard. I want Di to actually fucking promote some of his music. You don't. I've heard things from Di. I was just like, yo, that's dope. Like, yeah.
I think DI is one of those.
I hate that we can't. You know, there's not nothing we can say about this battle other than it shouldn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
Di, you got 11 fucking kids too, man. Like, this is a hell of a risk. But anyway, about default, I agree. We gotta go with Di. And salute to Di. Di's channel too. He does a lot of dope shit, man. Salute to that guy.
I think DI is one of those types that like to keep elevating, so he gets a little antsy when he's complacent, like he wants to do new things and elevate. So I think that's part of the reason why we haven't seen too much of battle rap trap channel.
All right, I need you to see that last part again because your volume went on.
So he likes to keep elevating. So I think that's why we haven't seen a whole lot from his channel. I haven't, anyways. I think he wants to always tries to reinvent himself somehow. So salute to him.
Yeah, definitely salute to Di. I think I don't want to go too left with this too, but if I'm just going off what I see on social media. I see a lot of dope shit from fathers, man. Di is one of them. In the battle rap community, I see just dope shit as being a father. You know what I mean? No Man, who we had here, No Man's one of them too, man. No Man's someone I think is just dope. Aaron Ross, salute to Aaron Ross, another one come off. Again, I'm just going off what I see on social media and how these guys put it back. And, you know, I just think that they're dope at being fathers. That's nothing that the world can ever take away from. So, win or lose in battle rap, we love battle rap. We want to be dope fathers more than that, dope parents. Salute to all those guys, man.
Salute to everybody, even the small channels, even the paparazzi or the TMZ guys, because I got into an argument on Twitter about this with some idiot. That no matter what, good or bad, it helps growth in the culture. As funky as that sounds, even bad brings in, because it can bring eyes, and those eyes can decide whether can make their own decision after that, but it can draw in the eyes. So I mean that's my own personal opinion.
I definitely disagree with you because when they do bring in those so-called eyes are being brought in on that perspective. And these people know me. I stop arguing with people on social media about stuff like that. And the main reason is because if a TMZ type person brought them into the culture, then they're only going off their perspective. They think their perspective is right, and that was the launch pad.
I can't say that for everybody. It's.
I'm not saying everybody. I'm talking about the TMZ style people.
But no matter what, technically, it does bring growth. No matter how you dice it up, because once those eyes are there, they can decide what perspective they want to continue to keep going on or search out. It might lead somebody to watch a battle or see who they're talking about. So technically, no matter what, if you want to get into intricate detail, that's another thing. But overall, everything creates growth. If you take the time out of your day to promote something of the culture, it primarily will create growth technically. Whether or not you agree with it, that's a whole other story.
I get your point. I definitely disagree with it, but I definitely get your point. All right, man.
Hey, sir, we're gonna cut it here.
Huh?
We're gonna cut it here. I'm a timestamp I'm gonna timestamp the footage.
I don't have anything else to talk about unless you do.
Now I gotta start dinner.
Yeah, do things. This woman over here is working hard on dinner, so yeah, smells like it's gonna be excellent.
DME's got his apron and skirt on, making dinner as well.
I didn't see dude me with a Wonder Woman apron on. Salute to everybody in the chat. I don't know who's there, but salute to any and everybody who's just even popped in real quick to see what we're talking about. Salute to all these leagues. At the end of the day, I think that we did a great job giving constructive criticism one way or another. And if you're mad about that, well, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. As we talked about at the beginning of this, I don't know, we've probably been on for like 3 hours, right?
3:20, yeah.
I don't know.
3:20.
That's the longest live we ever done on my channel. I don't know if that might be the longest we ever done as a union. I don't know.
Nah, we might have went like 4 hours.
Probably full. Just salute to everybody, man. Keep your prayers for each other, man. I seen earlier on Twitter, I seen Bricks Belvedere asking for prayers. He wasn't specific, and you don't need to be specific. Send your positive energy that way, your prayers that way. Same thing for the rest of us, man. Like, you know, we're a battleground community. We don't necessarily have the same opinions, and we argue and fight amongst ourselves. But you know, when it comes to real life shit, we should not have no problem sending blessings somebody's way. And hopefully, we can all do that for each other. But like I said at the beginning of this shit, don't be ignorant, man. Please do what you can to help, even if you don't believe in what's going on. You know, just be mindful of everybody else. You know what I mean? That's a big thing for me.
Yeah, give everybody space and their distance. Be respectful of one another. And the shit is real, so just be careful. Sanitize, mask up, do everything. Wash your hands.
Yeah, my brother Vidjuel, man, I love you, man. And this is it's been a while since we got together and shit, man. I mean, at least on camera. I know we talk off camera and shit, but been a while, man, and it's long overdue, man. I'm happy we were able to do this, man.
Yeah, stay tuned, y'all. The Yorkie will be with us shortly.
All right, my brother, I'm out.
I salute y'all.
All right.